Like the HP Smart Tank 7301. You can connect, work, and boost your productivity. The HP Smart Tank delivers seamless printing and quality color documents at a low cost. Plus, you get 2 years of ink right out of the box. And now, for a limited time, save $90 on the HP Smart Tank 7301 at Staples. For the best deals on a huge selection of HP printers, go to Staples. Offer good in-store and online. Ends 2/25.
Did you know that over 90% of male enhancement pills are virtually the same thing that's repackaged, redone over and over again? Why settle for the same old product when you can get something completely different? Something that takes male enhancement into the 21st century, something that really works. Men, you need to try Noxitril, the explosive, all-natural male enhancement formula that will unlock your performance in the bedroom to a level you could only dream of. Try to imagine Viagra on steroids. Noxitril is so powerful, that's why it took years for it to finally become available to the public without a prescription. So call now and take advantage of our special Noxitril free bottle offer today. Oh yeah, we recommend that you use the Noxitril dose as directed. Think of your partner. We certainly don't want you to overperform in the bedroom.
Call now and find out how to get a free bottle of Noxitril while supplies last. Call 800-993-2150, 800-993-2150. Free bottles for limited time. So call now, 800-993-2150, 800-993-2150.
I kind of like them 3-day weekends.
Kinda.
Not really like them 3-day weekends. Welcome back, everybody. Kenner and Kev live here on Dayton's ESPN radio station, 1410 Wing AM. We're off and rolling here, not on a Monday, but on a Tuesday. We got a jam-packed show coming up for you here today. Ton of reaction coming out of the weekend, NBA All-Star Weekend. One of us really liked it. The other of us, we'll get to that coming up here in just a freaking moment, okay? I cannot wait. We got our Say What segment, a couple audio pieces from people who just say some of the craziest things from over the weekend that we'll react to live here to kick off the show. One of my all-time favorite Cincinnati Reds, Bronson Arroyo, joins us at 3:45, so we'll catch up with him and his new band. Again, Bronson Arroyo and the 04 band. They have their new album out, and we'll be talking about his newly released album. And of course, you can access that in Spotify, Apple Music, iTunes, basically anywhere that you access all your music. So go and check that out ahead of our visit with Bronson Arroyo. We'll talk, of course, about some of the key young pitchers for the Reds heading into the 2023 season. Again, I'm Justin Kenner. He's Kev Nash, kicking it off here on a Tuesday. Mr. Kev Nash, welcome.
What up, though?
All right, so we talked about it. So apparently one of us was really high up on the All-Star game, and the other was not so much. We'll get to that coming up here in just a moment, but nonetheless. So we're off and rolling here on a Tuesday. We'll kick things off with, of course, a little Say What action. We play the audio piece. We react live. Of course, you can react live in the comment section. We're live on Facebook, the Justin Kidder Show Facebook page, and, of course, on our ESPN Dayton YouTube channel. So go and check that out as well. But you can also call into the show at 518-1410, 518-1410. That is the number to call and jump in on the conversation. All right, Kev, so to kick things off here on Say What, we're going to start off with a comment from Joey Votto. Again, pitchers and catchers had reported to spring training last weekend, and position players reported over the weekend. Of course, so it's their first time kind of addressing the media. Joey Votto is entering what might be his very last season with the Cincinnati Reds, of course. So it's going to be an interesting year following what could be the last, an end of an era, if you will, nonetheless. But he was asked about the fans and the frustration that has been spewed from the fans towards the organization. There's been way more losing than winning when it comes to the Cincinnati Reds organization. Joey Votto was asked about that and the fans' frustration, and here is what he had to say.
Yeah, no, say it. We deserve it. We have to play better, and it's a failure of ours to leave the fan base, such a supportive fan base, dissatisfied. And we are aware of it. I am aware of it. The cynicism, in my opinion, is completely justified. More of it. Give it to us. We deserve it, and we're working towards it, but we have to do it collectively. And hearing their challenges, I think, helps us.
sometimes, and again, that was Joey Votto in a response over the weekend as he and all other position players reported to spring training about all the losing and the fans' frustration. Fans have seemed to have been pushed over the edge when it comes to the rebuild of this team right now. They're tired of the losing. They want a winner. My problem with Joey Votto, and there's not many people out there who are anti-Joey Votto, and I don't really consider myself anti-Joey Votto, but I am critical of Joey Votto because I believe when you are, and again, it always comes back to money. Maybe shouldn't be for me. I don't really care either way, but when you think of the Reds, you think of Joey Votto. Joey Votto is supposed to be the face of that organization. And I believe that as the face of an organization, you have the responsibility to hold your team accountable. And although I blame ownership for a lot of issues with this organization that go back decades, I blame the revolving door of general managers. I'm not the biggest David Bell guy. There are a lot of fingers I point towards individuals that I think play a huge role in why this team cannot win and win consistently. But I do believe a guy that never gets any of the blame is Joey Votto. And what I mean by that is, what more can he do? What more can he do? I think what he should be doing is what we see a lot of in other sports that I'm a hypocrite and say I necessarily don't like, but I do believe there could be a little bit of a balance. When Joey Votto says those things, I call hypocrite. I don't believe him. I don't believe that he cares that we're upset because I don't think that he's upset. This is a guy that is perfectly content with losing. He has spent his entire career in Cincinnati. They have had one mini stretch in the last 7 years where they were good, and that was the 2020 season. And then even then, they had good expectations. They weren't good. They had expectations to be good. They didn't live up to those. Then they had that playoff stretch that led to him getting the big max contract back in 2012. But winning is not associated with the Cincinnati Reds organization. And to be honest, it's not associated with Joey Votto. And at no point throughout his entire career with the Cincinnati Reds has he held that organization's feet to the fire. I don't like athletes who bully their organization or hold their organizations hostage like what we're seeing with Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers. But I do appreciate athletes who say, hey, I am a pretty special talent. I want to be here. I want to play here. I love our fans. I love our organization. What are you doing to help us win? When they lose, he vanishes. He doesn't defend the fans. He did it there, but he doesn't go at the organization. He doesn't go in their door and say, hey, what are we doing? We need pitching. We need this. We need that. I put a lot of the blame on Joey Votto for the struggles of this organization because in every other sport, the face of that franchise plays a role in holding ownership's feet to the fire or holding them accountable, if you will. Joey Votto has done zero of that. I've always disliked that about Joey Votto.
And this statement that he dropped is kind of what you want to hear as a fan.
Yep.
You want to hear, the face of the organization say these things, say like, hey, we understand your frustration, because the total opposite happens so many times in sports. And it's kind of easy for Joey Votto to say this now before the season starts. He's not out there in the 100-degree temperature of Cincinnati in the middle of a losing streak, and then the fans start booing. Then they come to him after a game. I would like to see his response in that fashion. Hopefully they're not in a situation where they're losing too many games in a row where he's actually posed that question. But all in all, these are the things that you want your face of your organization to say, because last year was not a good year for Joey Votto, only played in 91 games. The year before that was really like a bounce back year for Joey Votto, played in like almost like 130 games, 36 home runs.
Yep.
So it's kind of one of those situations for me as an outsider to Reds country and everything like that. If that was coming from the team that I root for, like, well, at least he's saying the right things right now. Now, what else are you doing? Like, okay, you said the right thing. You said what I wanted to hear. What else are you doing to help our organization win? Are you training the new and upcoming guys? Are you like going to be that guy? Or are you going to be the guy that barks to the media every time you lose? Or are you going to be the guy that goes up to the front office to talk to them? Because every personality is totally different. There's quiet types that kind of like behind the scenes and really,
introverts.
Yes,
basically.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So maybe Joey Votto is that type of guy.
So, and here's a point I didn't bring up that you made me just realize. Joey Votto, what he said, I had no problem with. For instance, if I said that was Jonathan India saying that comment, I would love it. I'd be like, good for him. Good for Tyler Stevenson. But Joey Votto doesn't talk like that. He's never talked like that.
Mm-hmm.
He's never been the Joe Burrow of the Cincinnati Reds where he comes out and is basically getting the city to. Votto has never been a rally behind me guy.
A little too late.
That's my problem. It's a little too late. Where was this in 2016 and 17 and 18 and 19
when he was hitting 35 home runs a year?
Yeah. Like it just has always come across, well, I'm getting mine. I'm getting my money. I'm getting my stats. I'm going to go down as the best hitter in Reds history. That's up for debate, but many believe that's the case. That's fine. That's the frustration I have. You mean to tell me that with Pete Rose's just amazing, when you want to talk about how his competitive drive, would Pete Rose have put up with this over the last 17 years, over the last 20 years? No, he would not have. Would Joe Morgan, would Barry Larkin, would those guys, like, I just have a hard time believing that the legends of the Cincinnati Reds would ever have been this content throughout the history of their career with all the losing that has been associated with Reds baseball surrounding Joey Votto. Now he wants to come out and say, we sympathize with you, the fans. Now he wants to come out and say, we need to do better. Too little, too late. This might be the last season for Joey Votto. Like I said, it's the too little, too late approach. It'll be interesting to follow Votto's season coming up. It's going to be tough for me because I need to, we talked about in other sports, we do a poor job of acknowledging greatness. And I think I've taken Votto's career for granted because I take my anger out on the organization, out on him, when really I think we're going to realize, man, we could have been watching a team lose while also not getting a hint of greatness either in Joey Votto. Fortunately, we've been able to get a bit of both, but I think the leadership quality, Votto, I don't think is a great leader. I saw someone criticize him on social media over the weekend. Last year, he was up in the broadcast booth calling games when he was out for the season, as opposed to being in the dugout with the rest of the guys. I think that's slightly nitpicky, but man, LeBron would be destroyed if he had a season-ending injury and he's up in the booth calling games instead of being down on the bench with his teammates. People get mad at that all the time. Kawhi Leonard did that. Kawhi Leonard in the playoffs, he was up in a suite with his friends and family, and while his Clippers team was struggling, and people were furious about that. So people ripped this dude on social media. He was a random fan, and I'm like, I kind of agree with that guy. I kind of see where he's coming from. We don't hold baseball players to the same standard we do other sports. So, look, this is supposed to be a say what segment. That was a whole other segment, so we'll keep it going, Kev. All right, we continue down this say what segment again. That was Joey Votto. I want to keep it with baseball just one more time here. Again, give me patience while this mouse decides if it wants to work. There we go. Manny Machado with the Padres announced over the weekend that he does not intend to sign an extension with the Padres. Now, everyone is ripping him. Man, now you've become the story. Now you're a distraction. Now you're this. Now you're that. And what Manny Machado did is what I wish every superstar in his position would do. When the story is your future with an organization like Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers, that becomes the story. And the story that it becomes is, wait, what's going to happen? What's going to happen? Man, is Aaron Rodgers going to retire? Is Aaron Rodgers going to come back? Is he going to demand a trade? He said he's going to demand a trade. Is he actually going to follow through with it? Is he out of his hot box yet? What's he doing? What's he doing? What's he doing? That to me is worse. I hate that. If I was a Packers fan, I'd be exhausted. I kind of like that Manny Machado basically told the Padres, I am not signing this extension, that there's too much money out there that I would need to explore before I sat down to do this, not just with San Diego, but with every team out there. So he was asked about his future, and this was just a brief clip of what he had to say when asked about, again, announcing that he was not going to sign an extension with the Padres.
Honestly, not really going to get into business. Business is business. And, like I told my agent and I told the organization, I'm about going out there and playing baseball and doing what I can control, which is going out there and being the best player I could possibly be, and try to lead this team again to another championship and even further. So we're gonna go out there and play baseball and have as much fun as we can. We got a pretty good fun team now. I think with Toddy coming back and Bogey on the other side. We're gonna bring. We brought a lot of swag before, but I think we're taking it to the next level for sure.
How could you be angry at what he said? I love what he said. Hey, business is business. I put that out there so that we're not wondering all season about the extension. No matter what, you're going to be a storyline of, okay, how come you haven't signed it? How come you haven't signed it? How come if he knows he's not going to sign it, good for him. I'm not saying I'm done in San Diego, but there's so much money to be made out there. I want to see what my options are and go from there. But signing an extension, he's basically saying I'd be foolish to sign an extension if I don't know what I can get out there on the free market. I applaud him for announcing that he's going to do that, all while saying, hey, let's go win baseball games. We have 162 games, hopefully way more than that we're going to be playing this upcoming season. That could be a storyline later. Business is business. That's what he told his agent. That's what he told the front office. The only thing he can control is winning baseball games, and that's what he intends to do. I wish more athletes were this upfront and not doing the Aaron Rodgers drama. I'll take this drama, and it's not. It's being made to be. I'll take Manny Machado any day.
I don't think fans can really handle that. I think that you see the backlash that he's getting right now. I don't think that fans can handle that especially in the NFL or, God forbid, somebody said that in basketball.
Yep.
They wouldn't be able to handle that at all. Like, they can't handle the fact that there's free agency. You know, we get older callers all the time like, well, I remember there wasn't any free agency. Like, okay, what's that supposed to mean? What does that have to do with right now? So the here and now, him explaining his stance on how he's going to approach his potential last season with the Padres. Obviously, like he said, go out there and try to win a championship. But hey, after the season, I'm going to test free agency. And there's nothing wrong with that. And the other part about it is we never have a problem with it when it's the whole situation about, well, I'm going to roll the dice and bet on myself type of thing. You normally hear that like in football or whatever. But like in the case like this where, you know, there is a deal on the table, but he wants to see what other money is out there. And, you know, there's a lot of teams out there that could use him. You know, I mean, the Yankees are always a candidate. The Dodgers are always a candidate. The Houston's always a candidate. So, I mean, he's trying to get that bag. I'm not mad at him.
Yeah, we'll continue to follow that. But I love guys that are like that. Just for me, my cup of tea, just break a heart early. The wondering and not knowing what's going on, like that year with Castellanos. And it wasn't Castellanos' decision to leave, but like not knowing what the future was. Had the Reds come out and said, we don't plan, we would have ripped the Reds. We did it anyway. So it doesn't matter. But at least we know and can accept it early on.
Do you think teams can handle that or fans can handle that? Like if LeBron announced, hey, I'm not coming back to the Cavs next year. I'm going to be a free agent and we'll see what happens. And then they go play in the finals. I think that would be even a hotter topic than it was when he was just a potential free agent.
Oh, yeah. Look, I think everything's always going to be big news one way or another.
Right.
But I just, it's rare that an athlete's just very outspoken. Not outspoken. There's a lot of outspoken athletes up front and honest. Like, hey, this is what I want to do. Here's my plan. Here's how I plan on orchestrating this. And by the way, if he was smart, he would sign the extension because that's guaranteed money, to where now he's not going to sign the extension. He can get hurt this year and really lose out. He's actually hurting himself more than the organization or anybody else. That's kind of how I view it as we currently sit here right now. All right, moving on. NBA All-Star Game was Saturday night. And, the All-Star Game itself was just horrendous. It was hideous. It actually made the very last official tackle football Pro Bowl game look like a competitive beast. I mean, it was pretty bad. Stephen A. Smith on ESPN's First Take was asked how much he enjoyed the NBA All-Star Game. Here's Stephen A. Smith.
Did you enjoy the All-Star Game? Be honest with America.
Hell no. And by the way, I'm always honest. I don't lie. People are not important enough to lie to, okay?
I was just ad-libbing. Go ahead. I wasn't alluding to that. It was just TV talk.
I'm just letting you know, hell no, I didn't enjoy it. There's a couple of things. Number one, I applaud Mike Malone so much. He's such a great coach, great guy, and he's right on the money. The reality of the situation, here's what's inexcusable. It's pathetic as the All-Pro game was in football. It's kind of understandable, guys, because football is a violent sport, and we get all of that. And I'm not trying to say that you need to go all out as basketball players for All-Star Weekend because you got the second half of the season to consider, even though it's less than the second half of the season because you only got about 23 or 24 games left on the schedule. What I'm trying to say about the sport of basketball is that we don't need to see an all-star game taking place where you play harder in summer competition when you're working out than you do at the all-star weekend.
Now, there's a ton of reasons of why the game is not competitive. And yes, they're worried about the second half. There's not one reason that exists today that didn't exist for every previous All-Star game that guys took it serious. In fact, some of my favorite memories of the NBA were some of those big, All-Star game moments where you saw, Magic Johnson's final All-Star game and how emotional that was. Mm-hmm. I remember Michael Jordan's final one, him and Kobe Bryant going at one another. How fantastic, how cool that was. Kobe's final All-Star game, him and LeBron kind of going at it. Like, I love the All-Star games for those moments. Not that there was a moment that could have been utilized in that over the weekend, but it's like, it feels like it slowly started kind of dissipating. The dunk contest doesn't mean as much as it used to. 3-point contest is the most entertaining to me of all the events from over the weekend. But even that, it's like, okay, whatever here, there. The All-Star, the NBA, I ranked up there as the best All-Star weekend. But for me, of what I saw over the weekend, that was horrendous. That was god awful. That was just, I love the NBA and they're making me hate the NBA because that was just, I felt like too, everyone was miserable being in Utah. I don't know about you, but I felt like everyone from the top down they could not wait to get out of Utah. Maybe everyone just had bad vibes being in Utah. I have no idea. I know you love everything about the NBA, but your takeaway of Stephen A. Smith.
The All-Star game was garbage. But what I will say is the NBA All-Star game goes in ebbs and flows. They spiced it up. RIP to Kobe Bryant. This is like the third year since Kobe Bryant's been passed away, since they implemented the Elam ending.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
So those first 2 years of the NBA All-Star game with the Elam ending with the 24 points have been great. Like, so this past season was last night's or whatever, Sunday nights was terrible. So now we back into a shaky phase, but we're going to act like that first one that they did with the Elam ending wasn't highly entertaining, where they basically tried to play as much defense as you could in a NBA All-Star game, and then last year's All-Star game was pretty good as well. I'm just not going to jump off the cliff and say, oh man, it's over. I think it goes in ebbs and flows, and I think a lot of it had to do with something that we were super hype about, them picking teams right before they played. Well, picking teams right before they played was not how it went down. They picked teams, and then it was a 45-minute wait before they actually played the game. It wasn't like how it was presented, or at least how I thought it was going to be. Like, oh, this is going to be pickup basketball style. Giannis going to pick, then Bron's going to pick. Giannis going to pick, then Bron's going to pick. Him and Hall, they introduced everybody to their mom. They did a performance, then brought the starters out. Him and Hall, then they picked teams. Did another performance from Post Malone. Then the national anthem, and then the color guard. I'm like, goodness gracious, dude. It is 9:30, and we haven't even played basketball yet. So I think that length in between the actual picking, like, I want them to literally go out there. I want him. And they go their separate ways. They do the national anthem, and then they play basketball. That 45 minutes wait in there, I watched an entire episode of TV waiting between them picking the game.
That's 3 episodes of The Office, by the way.
Picking the teams and then actually playing the game. I was out after that. I was like, man, I'm done. I mean, I know they're not going to try really play basketball until the fourth quarter. Like, I'm out. You've lost me at that point. So it's some tweaking that needs to be done in picking these teams, because it was super exciting to say, oh man, they're going to pick teams, and then ultimately it turned out to be a dud.
How do you tweak effort, though? Because that's really what fans feel disrespected on. I can't imagine what those All-Star game tickets are. It's going to be in Indiana next. It was in Cleveland recently. Did you ever look at tickets to go to the All-Star game?
Yeah, they were pretty expensive.
I'd be pissed if I bought a ticket to that. Now in Utah, it's probably the highlight of their entire life.
You got to kind of know what you're getting into. Like, I don't think that All-Star game is like, oh man, I'm about to go watch the best pickup basketball game of all time. You're there to be amongst the stars and to see the stars and everything like that. I probably would never pay for the NBA All-Star game. I would rather go to Saturday night.
Yep.
Like, I think that's
dunk contest, competitions.
I think that's far more entertaining than the actual game itself.
So Phil on Facebook says, I don't understand why they play it so late in the season, not like tip-off.
Oh, okay. I was like, dude, it was like 9:30.
Not defending that either, but that being in Utah, that's, but 9:30 our time is only 6:30, 7:30 their time. So to be fair, but I don't remember when it was in Cleveland last year. When did that tip off? Same late. So I don't think that matters then. Okay, so throw that out the window. He goes, but with what, like 20-something games left, not worth the risk to play hard in an exhibition with playoffs around the corner. Now, Phil, again, I agree with that, but that has always been the reality of the All-Star game. That has never changed. So when I guess my point is if this All-Star game was a new creation, it's never had this before, it's the first year of it, and that's what we saw, I would say without a shadow of a doubt, yeah, guys just don't want to risk getting hurt with 20 games left in the playoffs around the corner. But the All-Star game has always been in February, heading into March, with the playoffs just around the corner, and we've seen guys ball out, dive on floors, put all-out effort, or at least in that fourth quarter. Good point about the fact that don't let last night shouldn't be an indictment on the entire All-Star game itself. But I think it comes down to one event and one event only that sours everyone on the whole weekend itself, and it's the slam dunk contest. Now, you were thoroughly entertained by it. I view it as you would have a G League guy come in to win it for you. Now, that dude, but that guy made it look exciting. How can that guy make it look exciting when, I feel like, are we out of dunks?
So we're transitioning, just make sure we're clear. We're transitioning away from the boring game to the Saturday night stuff.
Well, yes and no. So
okay,
let's hit this transition music real quick, because I'm looking at the time. I'm like, oh, speaking of late.
You got time?
Speaking of late time here. The dunk contest, I think it sours a lot of people. Now, some people love this McClung dude, okay? McClung comes in, G League, wins this thing, and everyone's ecstatic. The guy with his hand in the air.
Yes, sir.
And then this is typical Mr. Negative Kenner. I'm like, you needed a G League dude to come. It took a G League guy. I heard Stephen A. Smith say the fact that a guy came in off the streets of the G League and cared more than you guys, the All-Stars, that's a problem. I want your take on that on the other side, because I am curious. I think a lot of people agree with that, but that's the thing. It's not one-sided here. I'm just kind of curious where people come from with this. But 518-1410, 518-1410, or let your opinions be known in the comment section on the Justin Kinner Show Facebook page or our ESPN Dayton YouTube channel. We got Bronson Arroyo coming up around the corner. Excited to catch up with him. We'll get to that later on, though. We're going to continue taking your calls and your Facebook reaction next.
If you have an IRA or 401k, please listen closely. My name is Jason Hansen. I'm a former CIA officer and New York Times bestselling author. Throughout my career, let's just say I've been in some hairy situations. And I believe right now the biggest threat facing Americans is they need to protect their wealth, which is exactly what I'm doing for my wife and 6 kids. And I believe the ultimate safe haven is physical gold and silver. You can protect your hard-earned retirement assets with a tax-free loophole that allows you to convert your retirement into physical gold and silver. The folks I use are Advantage Gold, and believe me, I've investigated the heck out of all types of people. Advantage Gold is the nation's highest rated gold company. They have the best process, pricing, and service. If you want to get your free gold and silver investment kit, please contact Advantage Gold right now, and you'll see how easy it is to protect yourself with precious metals. Call 800-900-8000. That's 800-900-8000. 800-900-8000.
Advantage Gold is not an investment advisor or a tax advisor. Consult with your financial advisor before investing.
Call 800-900-8000.
The free AutoZone Fix Finder service can help troubleshoot the likely cause of your pesky check engine light for free and get you back on the road. Restrictions apply. Get in the zone. AutoZone.
O'Reilly. When you need auto parts, O'ReillyAuto.com is just a few clicks away. We offer convenient options for you to get your parts quickly. Order online and pick up for free at your local O'Reilly Auto Parts store. We'll even bring it out curbside. Or you can have your parts delivered right to your door with free shipping on most orders over $35. Visit O'ReillyAuto.com.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Dell Technologies President's Day event is here with deals to power all your passions. The savings start now on select sleek XPS laptops and more, powered by 12th Gen Intel Core processors. Don't forget, special pricing on the latest monitors, docks, and accessories, plus free shipping on everything and monthly payment options with Dell Preferred Account. Just call 877-ASK-DELL for these limited time President's Day deals. That's 877-ASK-DELL.
Everybody's talking about regenerative medicine now because people who have joint pain are getting real lasting relief without drugs or surgery. Hey, it's Keith Byers. QC Kinetics is the nation's leader in exciting treatment. They use highly concentrated healing agents from your own body to restore and repair damaged joint tissue. If you have ongoing joint pain from arthritis or injury, you need to call QC Kinetics. Don't assume that steroids and surgery are your only option. Times have changed, and regenerative medicine can get you moving again with no downtime. Stop taking the pain meds and discover the remarkable alternative that pro athletes have been using for years. Thanks to QC Kinetics, this amazing treatment option is now available for folks like you and me who are sick and tired of joint pain. Don't put this off any longer. Spring is coming, and you want to enjoy all life has to offer. Call QC.
It's a $5,000 sign-on bonus paid over 18 months, paid orientation, and company 401k with company match. Apply online at CordellTransportation.com. Cordell Transportation, driven to succeed.
If you're looking to obtain a quality education at a low price, look no further than Clark State. With over 160 degrees and certificates available, Clark State has a path for you to reach your goals. Our tuition rates are one of the lowest in Ohio, so getting that degree is easier than ever without breaking the bank. For more information about Clark State, visit us at www.clarkstate.edu.
Do you or any of your family members, neighbors, or friends own a property that you just want to be done with it? If so, call TurboTrack Realty today for an all-cash offer at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000. Would it be convenient for you to take what you wanted and leave the rest behind? Great, I'll buy it. Call 614-470-2000. That's 614-470-2000.
Progressive presents Adjusting to the Suburbs. You just bought a home in the suburbs, but no one told you about all the birds, specifically this one, who seems to be calling out Roy. Roy. But who exactly is Roy? And why doesn't he ever respond? Maybe Roy is just bird speak for save with Progressive by bundling your home and auto. I guess until Roy answers, we'll never know. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company. Coverage provided and serviced by affiliates and third-party insurers.
Breaking news.
Tax refund shock is everywhere, but what is it?
My tax refund shrank.
Mine too. The culprit? Pandemic-related stimulus payments and tax credits expiring. In this reporter's opinion, you need a tax expert.
Hey guys, Jackson Hewitt guarantees your biggest refund.
And tax prep is 50% off? Going there now.
50% off is a limited time offer for new clients filing at participating locations. Max value $200. Visit jacksonhewitt.com/50 for terms.
I'll second guest dinners with friends because they can be interrupted by diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or oily stools. It turns out I have EPI, or exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, which means I'm missing the enzymes needed to digest food. My doctor prescribed Creon, pancrelipase, an oral prescription medication that replaces pancreatic digestive enzymes. Creon treats EPI due to cystic fibrosis, chronic pancreatitis, pancreatectomy, or other conditions.
Creon may increase your chance of fibrosing colonopathy, a rare bowel disorder. Tell your doctor if you have a history of intestinal blockage or scarring or thickening of your bowel wall, if you're allergic to pork, or if you have gout, kidney problems, or worsening of painful swollen joints. Call your doctor if you have any unusual or severe gastrointestinal symptoms or allergic reactions. Take Creon as directed by your doctor and always with food. Do not chew capsules, as this may cause mouth irritation. Other side effects may include blood sugar changes, gas, dizziness, sore throat, and cough. These are not all the side effects of Creon.
Creon is the #1 prescribed EPI treatment. Ask your doctor about Creon for EPI and visit creoninfo.com or call 800-633-9110 to learn more. That's CREONinfo.com.
Still overpaying for a razor? In this economy? Gross. At Dollar Shave Club, you can get a top shelf shave at a regular shelf price. We've been hawking shaving products for years online, and we're excited to bring you the same great quality and low prices at a store near you. From high-quality stainless steel blades to super smooth shave creams, Dollar Shave Club's in the business of making your shave easier. Find Dollar Shave Club in the men's razor aisle. Getting your Dollar Shave Club razor wherever you want. Isn't that great?
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Thinking about gas mileage. You know, changing your oil with a full synthetic oil like Castrol Edge can help your engine get more miles. Right now, you can get 5 quarts with an STP extended life oil filter for only $38.99. Get started on your next job today with the parts you need when you need them at AutoZone or AutoZone.com.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
There's never any FOMO with the iHeartRadio app. You won't ever have to miss out on your favorite shows and contests with this radio station again. Radio 24/7, 365. We're here when you want us. Stay connected and listen anywhere when you download the free iHeartRadio app.
It's time to say goodnight to that check engine light with the free AutoZone Fix Finder service. It'll help troubleshoot the likely cause of your light for free. Restrictions apply. Get in the zone, AutoZone.
You want more local content from Dayton's ESPN radio station, 1410 Wing AM? Make sure you subscribe to the WING 1410 Dayton YouTube channel, where you can watch all your local shows live or go back and rewatch previous episodes of The Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, The Keith Byers Show, Talking Out Loud with Sully, and more. Whether you're at home, at work, or in your car, tune in to ESPN 1410 Wing AM or stream us live at wingam.com.
Bronson Arroyo will join us at 4 o'clock. Kidder and Kev back with you here on 1410 ESPN Radio. Just a reminder, former Cincinnati Reds Hall of Famer Bronson Arroyo, top of the hour, 4 o'clock. Excited to catch up with him. I did talk to him earlier today. Actually, he's about to hit the road with his new band. Not really new band, but they do have a new single out. And again, Bronson Arroyo and the 04 band, their newest album, Some Might Say. We'll have all that information coming up for you here in just a little bit. And he'll be joining us to kind of highlight some of that, but I think that's pretty cool. Kev, and this is something I'm going to talk to him about. It's rare. It's such a tiny percentage of people that can go on to play professional sports. And I don't just mean Major League Baseball or the NBA. I mean, I'm talking pro ball overseas. Like, it's a tiny percent that go on to college. It's an even tinier percent that go on to the pros. And then it's an even equally tinier percent. It's one thing to be in a band, and I'm not knocking anyone in a band. I have no rhythm whatsoever, like none. So I can't dance. I can't sing. I can't clap my hands to the rhythm of anything. So I'm not like, but I mean, like to join a band and to get to the point where you're releasing albums and going on tour, like they're going to be performing like at the same concerts, opening for guys like the Dave Matthews Band and Weezer and some of these guys. Like that's a big deal. Bronson Arroyo, what a kick-ass dude, man. Like to go on to have a 17-year Major League Baseball career, Reds Hall of Famer, won a World Series with the Boston Red Sox, and then to go on and now like having success with his band. I think that's pretty badass. Like, I mean, good for him. He's a pretty cool dude.
Pretty awesome to think about. Two of your dreams coming true. He had a dream as a kid to be a Major League Baseball player, did that. Now he has a dream of being a recording artist. He's doing that. So, I mean, there's so many people out there who have dreams and aspirations that, for whatever reason, they don't come true. Two of his have come true. So salute to him.
So, but we'll get to, again, Bronson Arroyo coming up top of the hour. Excited to catch up with him. So there's that. All right. So before we took a little pause in the action, of course, we're talking, we did our Say What segment, just different audio clips from various personalities, athletes from over the weekend. We heard from Joey Votto, Stephen A. Smith, and others. Stephen A. Smith asked about whether he was impressed with the NBA All-Star game. He said, hell no. But what about the All-Star game weekend? I didn't get the piece of him talking about the dunk contest. I didn't want to do that because it's going to sound like I'm just regurgitating a lot of the same stuff he is, but I'm acknowledging that it does sound similar to what he said. McClung is a great storyline that potentially saved the dunk contest over the weekend. Potentially. I can't tell, and I know where you sit on this. I can't tell if McClung saved the dunk contest or was just a glaring issue with the dunk contest being it took this guy, it mattered, but here's the deal with it. It looked like it mattered to him. It looked like it mattered to him. Like he cared. He wanted to come in and ball out. Like this might be, who knows where he's going to go, what his trajectory is as a pro in the NBA. This might be the biggest highlight of his career. Daquan Cook, I absolutely love Daquan Cook. He played in the league for quite a few years, okay? One of the highlights of his NBA career, of course, was winning the three-point competition in the NBA All-Star game back in 08 or 09 or something along those lines. It was 09 because he was in 08. I think him and I were seniors at the same time. But good for him.
Yeah.
Like he's always going to have so from that perspective, McClung is a great storyline. I'm not comparing Daquan Cook to McClung, so let's all relax. Our local Dayton people. Daquan will never talk to me again if he thinks that's what I'm saying. But my point is these weekends matter, and they matter to a lot of people. Sometimes they matter to the people that aren't all-stars.
Right.
And I think that's the problem. I'm disrespecting McClung and the likes of Daquan Cook, who I love Daquan, and he knows that. So that's not what I'm doing. My point is I think when you have guys like that come in that aren't all-stars, and they're busting their ass because it means something to them, I think they make the others look bad. And I think McClung made the league look bad over the weekend because when you add the All-Star game itself with no effort, you take the dunk contest and there's effort, but no names as far as star power. And then you see the no effort in the All-Star game, no names in the dunk contest, and this G League guy coming in and giving all the effort in the world. I think he is everything that was awesome and wrong about All-Star Game weekend. What say you? Is that a better way to put it?
That's fair. That's fair. But for McClung, I knew he was going to win because I've been watching him since he was in high school.
I've been screaming about representation in the dunk contest, by the way. Good for McClung.
This kid got crazy bounce. I mean, he was doing between the leg dunks in games in high school. So, I mean, he broke Allen Iverson's scoring record in the state of Virginia. Ultimately goes to Georgetown, just like Allen Iverson. Transfers to Texas Tech. Undrafted G League, bounced around. I think he was with the Lakers. I think he was with the Warriors or whatever. And when they said he was going to be in the dunk contest, I immediately went to DraftKings and put money down on it because I knew he was going to win because he has crazy bounce. And part of the reason he won was he made all his dunks on the first try. There was no, oh man, it took him 8 tries to do it. And that's credit to everybody involved because there wasn't a whole bunch of missed dunks before they made their dunks. I thought the dunk contest as the dunks themselves were awesome. Yep. Now, if we want to talk about star power being in the dunk contest, there hasn't been an all-star person playing in the Sunday game to win the dunk contest since John Wall in 2014.
Good for you. I was actually just, I swear to God, I was just about to say when I talked, I'm like, I don't even know the last time someone that played in the game itself was a participant or won the. So thank you. That's so weird because
and before that, it was Blake Griffin in 11. Now, the back-to-back seasons that Zach LaVine won the dunk contest with him and Aaron Gordon going absolutely crazy, neither one of them were all-stars, but that was a great dunk contest. But for me, I understand where people are coming from. They want to see the stars in it. They want to see Zion in it. Well, we would rather see Zion actually play a basketball game. He can't even play for the Pelicans. He's always hurt. So then we say, well, what about Ja? Ja said he'll never do it. So then we're running out of guys that we actually want to see in the dunk contest. I know that you would love to see LeBron in there, but LeBron is not a dunk contest dunker. He's never been a dunk contest dunker. He dunked on folks. That's
floor, full speed.
Like maybe out of Anthony Edwards, maybe he'll be pretty cool in the dunk contest. But like we're searching for these stars to participate in the dunk contest. And I mean, like I said, it's been since 2014. We're going on 10 years. We'll be at 10 years before we have somebody that was actually playing on Sunday that was participating on the Sunday on the Saturday dunk contest. So I think that's just over and done with. And another thing about it is it kind of morphs into my thoughts about load management. It's just not cool for the veteran guys to do it anymore. Not saying like guys that have been in the league 10, 15 years, but like once you hit like a certain level of coolness in the NBA or stature in the NBA, that's looked at as the young guy thing, even though half the league is under 25 years old. So I get what you're saying about wanting to see stars in there and big names, but it just ain't going to happen. It just ain't going to happen. So that's why I'm there to see cool dunks. And I think Mac McClung brought a lot of cool dunks. I mean, he did a 580, dude, at 6'2".
And like it was smooth the way he whipped around. I mean, the way like there's a lot of awkward dunkers.
Yeah.
I mean, I love Obi Toppin and he won it last year, but I didn't think, I mean, he didn't, it's not like it was beyond impressive. I mean, Obi is but Obi is another guy, to be fair, that he's in the game.
Yeah.
Open floor, full speed ahead. And by the way, Obi did a great job of the dunk contest. That's not what I'm saying. But my point is, there were some of his dunks that looked awkward at times, and he didn't hit his on the first try. I thought it was cool. Obi did say that he's kind of, he set this one out for his teammate, who was the other Nick that was in there.
Jericho
Sims.
Yeah, there you go.
So he's the one that upset Karl Malone and everyone with the Vince Carter dunk and then ripped out the 50. He gave himself a 50. I'm like, I appreciate that. I was like, okay, cool. But like it's just one of those. So he set out of that this year, and it sounds like he's wanting to get into it if his brother is in it. I think the kid at Kentucky.
Yeah,
I forgot his name. Why am I forgetting it? Either way, that'd be kind of cool. I thought that was a cool storyline as far as that goes. It was kind of, it was bummed not seeing Obi. The reason I did watch the last couple of years, Jacob Toppin. So there was at least reason to watch the last couple of years from a local perspective. Luke Kennard was in the 3-point competition last year. We watched Daquan over a decade ago, which by the way, how is that
crazy?
I didn't feel old because I was like, man, Daquan's a guy I watched when I was in high school and when that 1 year at Ohio State. And I'm like, oh crap, man, like that was like a long time ago. But really cool nonetheless. So how do you fix it? Everyone always likes to complain. I'm a big complainer, but what do you do to fix stuff? I don't know how you fix it, but I do know this. I am curious your thoughts. Stephen A. Smith had this to say about LeBron James, that the reason the dunk contest is so bad is because LeBron James. Thumbs up, thumbs down to that. I understand what he is trying to say. What he is trying to say is that, I guess there's stages to this, right? There's no stars in the dunk contest. And why are there no stars in the dunk contest? Because back in the day, there used to be stars in the dunk contest because they were young stars that watched the older stars do it when they were young. And then it was like a rite of passage. All right. LeBron said, thanks, but no thanks. He never participated in this dunk contest. And he almost made sitting out of the dunk contest look cool. He made it to where every year, is this going to be the year? Is this going to be the year? Is this going to be? Eventually, we knew that was never going to happen. So he's almost viewed as the reason is why these young guys don't want to be in the dunk contest. Think about like John Morant and others over the last 5, 6, 7 years when they were in high school going into college or college going into the pros. They're watching the dunk contest. They're not seeing stars in the dunk contest. They emerge into the NBA. They now know they're the stars. And they're like, no, stars don't do the dunk contest. It's almost like they're conditioned to where back when LeBron came into the league, it was conditioned that the stars do the dunk contest. But he was the first to say, no. Your thoughts on that? Like the stars coming into the league today, it's almost like they're above it. And I think fans feel that vibe.
Yes, it is. It's a cool factor about this. No doubt about it. But I will push back a little bit. So bear with me. This is a lot of information I'm about to spew at you guys. So dating back to when Dominique Wilkins won the dunk contest in 1990, D. Brown, Cedric Ceballos, Harold Miner, Isaiah Ryder, Harold Miner, Brent Berry. Not superstars. So boom, Kobe Bryant. But that was Kobe Bryant's rookie year. Kobe Bryant was not a superstar his rookie year. He was the sixth man on the Los Angeles Lakers. So bad, in fact, that they took 3 years off. Vince Carter in 2000, which goes down as probably the best dunk contest of all time. And then after Vince Carter did some crazy stuff we'd never seen before, Desmond Mason, Jason Richardson, Fred Jones, Josh Smith, Nate Robinson, Gerald Green. Now we have another splash. Dwight Howard comes on the scene. Big time dunks. Then we go back. Nate Robinson. Another splash. Blake Griffin, Jeremy Evans, Terrence Ross, John Wall. He's an all-star. Then we get a great back-to-back dunk contest from Zach LaVine and Aaron Gordon. Then we get Glenn Robinson III, Donovan Mitchell, before he was Donovan Mitchell. Derek Jones, Anthony Simons, who's a three-point shooter, won the dunk contest, and Obi Toppin. That don't say that. That shows
don't exist.
It's not real. These are made up.
Yelling, Kev. I'm just talking.
This is made up. This is a made up situation that they go and blame LeBron for not participating in the dunk contest. Look at you mean to tell me LeBron is the only guy in the NBA that could have participated in the dunk contest to make it cool? There's a whole bunch of dudes on here that had average at best careers that won the dunk contest and that participated in the dunk contest. And for Stephen A to blame LeBron for ruining the dunk contest
directly
is ridiculous. You know who else was in the league at the same time? Some dude named Dwayne Wade, who was, in my opinion, a better dunker than LeBron James. To blame LeBron for this is just ridiculous. And for me, I don't necessarily need to see a star player do a dunk. If he's going to do a cool dunk, I'll love it, but I'm here for the dunk. I want to see something I had ever seen before. I want to see stuff that would wow me. So if LeBron is going to go up there and do his dunk, the dunk man where he just cock it between his head and dunks it, I've seen that 1,000,000,001 times, dude. I'll love to see it 1,000,000,001 more, but not in a dunk contest. I want to see something that I've never seen before.
Do those still exist? Dunks that we've never seen before?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, 100%. And the problem is the reason why you can't see a lot of those dunks in the NBA is because they have quote unquote professional dunkers out there. And some of the stuff that they do, an NBA player probably would get kicked out the league for trying to attempt it. There's no way Zion Williams is going to try some of the dunks that these professional dunkers do. He'll break his neck trying to do that type of stuff. So that's why you're going to get a guy like Mac McClung to come in there and do these crazy dunks that we haven't seen in quite a time because he's not really an NBA guy.
What about Kevin Durant saying, what are we doing? It used to be sacred to be a part of the All-Star weekend. The hypocrisy of Kevin Durant to actually spew this is kind of our.
Has Kevin Durant ever participated in Saturday night?
So this was his. He was asked about the lack of marquee names participating in the dunk contest. He goes, what are we doing? It used to be sacred to be a part of All-Star weekend.
That's not true. I just named off some of these. Fred Jones. Come on, bro. Come on. And okay, nobody, I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, man, I would love to see KD in the dunk contest. No, I want to see KD in the skills challenge. I want to see KD in the three-point shootout. I'm not sure Kevin Durant ever participated in the three-point shootout. I do remember, Michael Jordan participating, which was terrible. And I also remember Allen Iverson throwing up 4 points in the three-point shootout. It was funny, But I think like seeing those legends of the game participate in those type of things is funny. But I think a lot of stuff today, like there's a lot of ego involved, and I don't think a lot of people have the ability to laugh at themselves.
Yep.
Like I think they go out there and just say, I don't know, say KD goes out there in the 3-point shootout and he puts up 15 points. Like people are going to wreck him. But it's the All-Star weekend. It's just supposed to be for fun.
So that's been my suggestion. How do you fix the All-Star weekend? If you don't have to worry about dealing with these dudes' egos, here's how I do it. And you and I have talked about this before, but I said if you are voted an All-Star, the skills competition, dunk contest, 3-point competition, you have to participate in one of those to get the incentive money of being in the. When you're voted to the All-Star weekend, you're invited to All-Star weekend to get the. If you're named an All-Star, there's incentives in these dudes' contracts. That means being involved in All-Star weekend, not just being named. So that would force a group of guys to have to be in the dunk contest, a group of guys in the skills contest, group of guys. Even if you get non-3-point shooters in there, I'd rather watch Shaq in a 3-point contest than a no-name in a 3-point contest. In the dunk contest, and here's my favorite line, I'd rather watch LeBron do a simple left-handed layup than McClung do all the weird crap he did over the weekend. I'm not.
You are lying.
It's called All-Star, not All-Star weekend. I want the stars.
I
want the
refuse to
stars.
believe that. I got a better way to fix it because I don't think that money would motivate a lot of these guys. I say that they go back to picking the teams with whoever the team captain is, and the team captain has to pick guys that are going to participate for his team. So, like, all right, I want, if it's LeBron, I'm like, all right, well, I got Anthony Edwards participating in the dunk contest. They have to pick 2 guys from each team to participate in the dunk contest. So I want Anthony Edwards and Ja Morant. And then Giannis says, well, I'm going to participate in the dunk contest, and I'm going to have so-and-so participate in the dunk contest. And Dan's like, well, I'm going to have Dame in the 3-point shootout and Clay in the shootout. Well, I'm going to have Steph in the shootout and X amount of player in the shootout. And then the NBA fills in the gaps with the other players.
Fine.
Call me up.
Horse, one-on-one, something.
Call me up, Adam.
Something.
Call me up. I got the fix, baby. I got it.
Andrew Robbins on Facebook says, I agree. KD needs to step back. And look at how many players say they won't be in the dunk contest. Phil says Durant's a loser. So, Doug Toby says, I blame Spud Webb. He was Kinner's height. There's that.
Also banging on folk.
Ron Howard says Spud Webb was the best dunk contest winner of all time. Ron Howard dropped the word dope a little bit ago. Where did he go? Ron Howard said, back in my day, every All-Star game was dope. MLB, NFL, NBA, they were all good. Now watered down.
But you know what? You go ask a 15-year-old, they had the time of their life watching this. They thought the whole thing was awesome.
Let's go. 15-year-olds, I want to hear from you. 518-1410. Did you enjoy what you watched?
I think they were just getting out of school.
Yeah, they're just getting. All right, Kenner and Kev, 1410 ESPN Radio. We'll be right back.
It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash on 1410 ESPN Radio.
$5,000 sign-on bonus. That's right. My friends at Cordell Transportation are now hiring experienced Class A CDL drivers with excellent work history. If that's you, apply now. Cordell Transportation offers home daily dedicated lanes, no-touch freight, and brand new equipment, plus a $5,000 sign-on bonus paid over 18 months, paid orientation, and company 401k with company match. Apply online at CordellTransportation.com. Cordell Transportation, driven to succeed.
When you can't stop, there's Vicks VapoRub. Vicks VapoRub sends powerful medicated Vicks vapors right to the source of your, so you can experience cough relief and breathe easier. Generations of families have trusted Vicks VapoRub to help relieve the worst cold symptoms. So next time you have a cough, reach for the Vicks VapoRub. Vicks VapoRub. Cough relieving is believing.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Are you kidding me? Gas prices are up again? Somebody has to do something.
Well, someone did. That's why I use Upside.
Upside? What's that?
It's a free app that pays you back real money for every gallon of gas or diesel you buy. I just earned 25 cents back on every gallon of this tank.
Hold on. So the Upside app is free and you actually get cash back every time you use it? No strings attached?
Yep, it's awesome. Check it out. It only takes a couple of minutes to sign up.
Instead of just watching your dollars go into your tank, start putting money back into your wallet with the free app from Upside. With the price of gas today, it's big news and big money. To cash out of your Upside cash, just transfer it to your bank account, PayPal, or a gift card. Upside users have already earned over $200 million. Now it's your turn. Download the free Upside app and get cash back on every gallon of gas. Use promo code APP70 for an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first fill up. That's code APP70. Use code APP70 for an extra 25 cents per gallon back in your first fill up.
Hi, Greg McAfee here with McAfee Heating and Air. There has never been a better time to start a new career. If you are 18 years or older with a high school diploma or GED and enjoy working with your hands, consider the McAfee Apprenticeship Program, where you will learn everything you need through in-class and on-the-job training. Apply today at mcair.com. That's mcair.com.
It's time to say goodnight to that check engine light with the free AutoZone Fix Finder service. It'll help troubleshoot the likely cause of your light for free. Restrictions apply. Get in the zone. AutoZone.
Some listeners like you are experiencing firsthand the amazing pain relief from QC Kinetics, even calling your favorite radio host to share the good news.
QC Kinetics. I had my right ankle worked on 4 months ago. Awesome.
That's great,
look
Mick.
at that,
man. Yes, they worked on my elbow.
Every day, the QC Kinetics medical professionals treat patients like Mick with the latest regenerative therapies using natural biologics concentrated right at the hurting joint. No surgery, no downtime.
I'm telling you, QC Kinetics is the way to go if you don't want to go under the knife and suffer for 3 months.
Yep.
It was very easy, as you well know, with your elbow.
I'm telling
You guys are awesome.
Mick, appreciate it, buddy. Thanks for the phone call. Really appreciate it. I'm so glad that QC Kinetics did some wonders for you. I mean, regenerative medicine, man, that's the thing these days. Living proof right there.
Call QC Kinetics now for your consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 937-936-0325. That's 937-936-0325. 937-936-0325.
3 people you should be 100% certain about: your barber, your plumber, and your tax pro. Switch to Jackson Hewitt and you can be 100% certain about your taxes. We'll get you your maximum refund guaranteed and we'll back your return for life. Don't be kind of certain or almost certain. Be 100% certain. Switch to Jackson Hewitt today and get 50% off tax prep. Limited time offer for new clients filing at participating locations. Max value $200. Visit jacksonhewitt.com/50 for terms.
Is your tub worn out, but you're not sure who to trust to replace it? With over 2 million successful bath remodels, people trust Bathfitter because we know how to do it right. We've been custom designing and manufacturing baths for over 35 years. Our unique tub-over-tub installation takes as little as a day with no demo to fit your busy schedule. And we offer a lifetime warranty on every tub. That's how confident we are in our quality and durability. Bathfitter, it just fits. Visit bathfitter.com to book your free consultation.
WING 1410 Dayton. Dayton's ESPN Radio.
ESPN 1410 Wing AM weather.
Our forecast is calling for rain tonight, a low of 36, showers and 68. Wednesday, Thursday, sunny, windy, and 72. I'm Rick Schrepp, 1410 ESPN Radio.
Men, women, and young adults can find health wellness services at odh.ohio.gov/RHWP. Connect with a health provider to receive services like screenings for healthy weight, cancer, smoking cessation assistance, as well as other health services. Visit odh.ohio.gov/RHWP to find and connect with a location near you to schedule your in-person or telehealth.
Including the full line of Dutch Boy paints at Menards. Good through March 5th.
Savings are mail-in rebate. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
Save big money at Menards.
Deb's constipation with belly pain, discomfort, and bloating kept giving her grief. She talked to her doctor to get some relief. Deb had irritable bowel syndrome with constipation or IBS-C, which was a start. Saying yes to Linzess helped her do her part.
Linzess, or linaclotide, is a prescription medicine that treats IBS-C in adults. Linzess works differently than laxatives. It lets you have more frequent and complete bowel movements and helps relieve overall abdominal symptoms, belly pain, discomfort, and bloating. These symptoms were studied in combination, not individually. Do not give Linzess to children less than 2 years old. It may harm them. Do not take Linzess if you have a bowel blockage. Get immediate help if you develop unusual or severe stomach pain, especially with bloody or black stools. The most common side effect is diarrhea, sometimes severe. If it's severe, stop taking Linzess and call your doctor right away. Other side effects include gas, stomach area pain, and swelling. There could be more to your story with IBS-C. Talk to a doctor today. Say yes to Linzess. Learn more at linzess.com or call 1-800-LINZESS. Sponsored by AbbVie and Ironwood Pharmaceuticals.
Kenner and Kev back with you here on 1410 ESPN Radio. My apologies, the Bronson Arroyo visit going to be pushed back another 5 minutes. Bronson Arroyo joins us coming up here in 5 minutes. Just wanted to touch base here, top of the hour. Kenner and Kev with you here on 1410 ESPN Radio. Former Reds pitcher, future, I guess now Reds Hall of Famer. He'll be inducted to the Reds Hall of Fame as the lone inductor coming up here later on this Reds season. So we'll talk about that with Bronson Arroyo coming up here around the corner, but we'll also talk about kind of some of his new adventures right now. Again, with his new band, Bronson Arroyo and the 04 Band. Again, they have their newest album out. It's available on Spotify. We'll talk about that with him coming up here around the corner. Kev, Steve Stetler, he says, by the way, he goes, I agree. I'd rather see a game of horse. It doesn't have to be rather see one or the other. I'd like to see that added into the mix, even if KB was showing
That's
me.
what KD did. He did the horse thing. I remember that. They had a horse for a year or two.
Did they really?
Yes.
So apparently it didn't work.
Yes, it was a dud.
They should have called McClung. Keith Tolliver says, do you think the dunk contest back in the day was more marketing related for the players? I mean, the Jordan logo is one of his dunks. Players nowadays get exposure everywhere with all of the sports channels. So it was one of your limited marketing channels.
That's a good point.
Could have potentially be that as far as that's concerned, nonetheless. All right, so coming up here in 5 minutes at 4:10, we're going to catch up with Bronson Arroyo. After that, I want to get into this Daniel Jones thing. Mr. Daniel Jones. He went to sleep, Daniel Jones, and had an epiphany. He woke up. He's like, I'm Patrick Mahomes. I'm Patrick Mahomes. I'm going to get paid as Patrick Mahomes. Daniel Jones, in all seriousness, though, is due for an extension, just like the likes of course, of Jalen Hurts and Joe Burrow and Lamar Jackson and yada, yada. Well, the thing we're going to get to around the corner is he switched representation. He now has a different agent. And now they have gone to the front office. There was reports that had come out late last week or mid last week that the ballpark range for what the Giants are going to offer Daniel Jones is that 35-37 mil range, which I said that's about right. That's a solid go-to price. That is, by the way, for a guy that hasn't really, I mean, last year was his best season. And he wasn't statistically eye-popping. Let's just put it that way. If the biggest improvement from one season to the next is he didn't turn the ball over as much as he did the year before, I don't think that is putting you in that elite category to get paid like the elites. So he wants $45 million a year. Now, I want a lot of things. Kev wants a lot of things. It doesn't mean we're going to get those. But he's pretty dang serious about this. And it's to the point where the Giants are a little concerned now. It came out today that they're not going to pursue the contract extension with Saquon Barkley. That hasn't been official yet, but that now there are reports coming out that the Giants now really see themselves in a position where they're not going to be able to apply both. I said earlier in the week or last week that for the price of Joe Burrow, if you're the Giants, if you get Saquon Barkley and Daniel Jones at 35 and 15 mil for the price of one quarterback in Joe Burrow, that doesn't equal Joe Burrow, but that equals a competitive stone to build around.
Mm-hmm.
I think you could build around Daniel Jones and Saquon Barkley. I think that you could do that and be just fine. So I'm fine with that, but you could do that for 50 mil. You can't do that for a dime more. For a dime, 35 mil, 15 mil, what have you. But now all of a sudden it looks like, okay, maybe the Giants were just hoping that number would be suitable. New representation for Daniel Jones. He says not so much. We'll see what ends up happening with that. But yes, when I officially heard that, Kev, That was my reaction. Ooh, 45 mil. And y'all thought Deshaun Watson getting $50 million a year fully guaranteed was bad for the NFL? If a mid-level quarterback like this gets $45 million a year, I think that's a bigger problem for the NFL than elite quarterbacks getting guaranteed money. I really do. I think that the Daniel Joneses of the world getting $45 million a year completely hurt owners. Not that you should or I should care about owners, but if owners are so distraught about Deshaun Watson's fully guaranteed contract, Deshaun Watson, I'm sorry, I have more of a problem with the Daniel Jones getting paid the same amount of money as Patrick Mahomes. That's just me. But if he does get it, him and Kirk Cousins, I mean, those two, they just absolutely,
Hey, I bang on Kirk Cousins left and right, but you can't put Kirk Cousins and Daniel Jones in the same sentence.
They both get paid.
I'm just saying, Kirk Cousins has done a lot more than Daniel Jones, but I could think of two quarterbacks that are rooting like crazy for Daniel Jones. One is named Lamar Jackson, and the other one is named Jalen Hurts. They're both rooting for this to happen.
Not Joey B. Joey B. going to take that $40 million. You know, that
discount.
Hometown discount.
Discount.
Anyways, Andrew Robbins said he's crazy. He's not worth the money. Hey, you're worth as much as you asked for. He could ask for it. I don't blame him for, like I said, this sounds like we're anti-Daniel Jones. I'm not anti-Daniel Jones. I just think if the Giants do this, well, then, you know, you heard my reaction. I mean, oof. All right. I'll tell you what, we're going to step away for a few minutes. Just got confirmation we're going to be joined on the other side by former Cincinnati Reds Hall of Famer Bronson Arroyo. He joins us next. Don't go anywhere.
I switched to Boost Mobile and got a free Samsung Galaxy A23 5G phone. Want to know the best part?
It was free?
Nope.
The fact that it's on America's largest 5G networks?
Nope. It's the ding.
Oh, yeah. Love the ding.
Right? It's all about the ding. It's the dingarooski, the dingaroner, the ring-a-ding-ding.
Unleash your power to save with Boost. Get a free Samsung Galaxy A23 5G phone when you switch. Boost Mobile. Unleash your power.
And the ding.
Limited time offer. New customers only. Available on select networks. 5G not available everywhere. One device per line. Tax excluded. Additional restrictions apply. See your local Boost Mobile store for details.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone, America's #1 brakes destination. We have the pads, rotors, drums, shoes, and brake fluids to improve your stopping power. Right now, save 15% when you get any 2 Duralast rotors with a set of Duralast brake pads. Missing a tool? Ask about our free Loan-A-Tool program and borrow the tools you need to get the job done.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Claim based on data from the MPD Group 2021. Deposit required for Loan-A-Tool.
When you least expect it, life happens. You can count on McAfee's 24/7 service to be there when it does. Any season, anytime, McAfee.
FanDuel Sportsbook is here to help you make every moment more for all of your favorite sports and all of your favorite teams. Right now, new customers can get a no-sweat first bet up to $1,000. Just sign up by going to FanDuel.com/Kinner. Place your first bet, and FanDuel will give you up to $1,000 back in bonus bets if you don't win. Right now is the best time of the year to bet for college basketball fans, especially right here in the Miami Valley. Use your no-sweat first bet on your Dayton Flyers, Wright State Raiders, or the Ohio State Buckeyes. There's no better place to bet every major sport than FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. So go to FanDuel.com/Kinner, Kinner. Download the FanDuel Sportsbook app to get started with your no-sweat first bet up to $1,000. Must be 21 and older and present in Ohio. First online, real money wager only. $10 deposit required. Refund issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire in 14 days. Restrictions apply. See full terms at FanDuel.com/sportsbook. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Want to make tonight's dinner a perfect 10? Swing by Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken and pick up a 10-piece strips meal for only $24.99. With 10 freshly marinated, honey-dipped premium tenderloins, 3 dipping sauces, 2 of our irresistible large sides, and 5 fluffy biscuits, it's family time made from scratch. Take home a top-notch dinner the whole family will love from Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken with our 10-piece strips meal for only $24.99. Only at Lee's. Famous for chicken.
Big features, big ink, big savings. That's what you get when you buy an HP printer at Staples. Like the HP Smart Tank 7301. You can connect, work, and boost your productivity. The HP Smart Tank delivers seamless printing and quality color documents at a low cost. Plus, you get 2 years of ink right out of the box. And now, for a limited time, save $90 on the HP Smart Tank 7301 at Staples. For the best deals on a huge selection of HP printers, go to Staples. Offer good in-store and online. Ends 2/25.
Moments like hearing my cat purr good morning mean a lot to me. But after being diagnosed with metastatic breast cancer, or MBC, which is breast cancer that is spread to other parts of the body, they mean even more. I take Ibrance, palbociclib.
Ibrance 125 milligram tablets with an aromatase inhibitor is for postmenopausal women or for men with HR-positive, HER2-negative NBC as the first hormonal-based therapy. Ask your doctor about Ibrance and visit Ibrance.com. Ibrance may cause low white blood cell counts that may lead to serious infections. Ibrance may cause severe inflammation of the lungs. Both of these can lead to death. Tell your doctor right away if you have new or worsening symptoms, including trouble breathing, shortness of breath, cough, or chest pain. Before taking Ibrance, tell your doctor if you have fever, chills, or other signs of infection, liver or kidney problems, are or plan to become pregnant, or are breastfeeding. Common side effects include low red blood cell and low platelet counts, infections, tiredness, nausea, sore mouth, abnormalities in liver blood tests, diarrhea, hair thinning or loss, vomiting, rash, and loss of appetite.
Need an online notary? We can help. Hi, this is Mike Foley, your Montgomery County Clerk of Courts. We can notarize your documents remotely at no charge to you. All you need is a smartphone or laptop. Visit courthouse2u.com for more info.
Cordell Transportation is hiring third shift dispatcher / customer service representatives. Excellent pay, great benefits, no experience necessary, and paid training. Apply online at CordellTransportation.com or stop in today at 2942 Boulder Avenue in Dayton. Equal opportunity employer.
Straight from Texas, Texas Tea Stock Show Secrets and Flex Appeal. Get those animals started on the right hoof. Only available at Homestead Feed and Supply, 1833 North Dayton Lakeview Road, New Carlisle. Tell them the Colonel sent you.
All right, everybody, welcome back. Justin Kinner with you here on Dayton's ESPN radio station, 1410 Wing AM. Some might say that is the newest album from Bronson Arroyo and the 04 Band, and I'm excited to welcome Bronson onto the show here today. Bronson, one of my all-time favorite Cincinnati Reds players, and just the grit and the grind and the hard work out on the field. And after 17 years, 5 years ago, calling it a career, here he is 5 years later, and his post-career career taking off. Bronson Arroyo and the 04 Band, their latest album, Some Might Say, which is available on Spotify, Apple iTunes, wherever you get your music, of course. I promise you're going to want to check that out, and I'm excited to talk about that today with Bronson Arroyo, who is joining us now. Bronson, it's been a while, sir. How are you? Welcome.
I'm doing good, Justin. How are you?
Good, man. Hey, look, I appreciate your time right now. Obviously, a very busy time. Like you and I in the past, we've talked a lot about your music career, and here you are. Some might say your newest album that you just released, Bronson Arroyo and the 04 Band. It's pretty exciting. Look, you obviously retired, 5 years ago, and here you are, your post-career career taking off, as I alluded to earlier. But just tell us a little bit about this project, because I know you've been working on this for quite some time, on this album for quite some time. And now not only do you have the album going on tour, and you're going to be performing in some of these major festivals, these big concerts coming up with the likes, of course, of Imagine Dragons, Pitbull, the Dave Matthews Band, Green Day, The Offspring. You have so many cool things coming up, and it's all because of all the hard work you've put in over the years in your music career. Just tell us a little bit about your project that has finally, at least, has finally led to the release of your latest album, Some Might Say.
Yeah, it's a project that in 2017 I retired from the Reds, and I was thinking I wanted to try to take a crack at trying to write an original record. I've been playing music for the last 20 to 25 years, and a lot of times playing cover songs. But I wanted to, try my hand at writing songs, not like kids. I've written kids songs in the past where you would kind of, go to an elementary school and just tell them, to eat their fruits and vegetables and something very direct. But to write a record that you'd want to hear on the radio and be proud of these songs, I hadn't done that in the past. And so I just started upon this journey of trying to finish songs, and I'd met the guys in the 04 Band back in 20 years ago when I was a Red Sox and we won a World Series. And so we've been hanging out and playing charity shows for a long time, and we always said we were going to make an album. And so this is kind of the end result of kind of all those ideas coming together.
Now, a lot of our listeners are Reds fans, of course. So they love Bronson Arroyo. They know Bronson Arroyo, the baseball player. And a lot of your biggest fans are familiar with your background in music, of course. So this isn't one of those okay, you retired 5 years ago and just decided to pick up a guitar and learn how to sing and everything. There's been a constant overlap of your music career, even with your professional baseball career. So just kind of walk us through that journey a little bit. For some, it's like, oh man, Bronson Arroyo, he retired and now he started this music career. This has been something that's been in the works for quite some time. I know that the album was started back in 17, but this musical journey you're on, this is something that has been going on. It's been a part of your life just as much as baseball from the time you were a little kid.
Well, it's just been kind of a slow evolution of like, you first playing a guitar in a clubhouse and you're trying to hack your way through cover songs, and then you're playing around a campfire, and then it's an open mic night, and then I'm playing in a cover band around Cincinnati for a long time, for the last 15 years as I've been playing here, and it just felt like a natural evolution to try to put something out that would be ideas and stories from my own head, and so once we kind of honed in on that we wanted to try and do this, it was going to take me to figure out some sort of formula to write these songs. And so I would take riffs from the guys in the band or stuff that I had written myself. And a lot of times here in Cincinnati, I'd go with my buddy Elliot Sloan from Blessed Union of Souls and try to finish these songs. And as I got kind of addicted to finishing songs, it would take about 4 hours a day for me to come in with an idea and finish it and leave with kind of this junky demo in my hand. And once I did that enough times, it felt like, oh, okay, this is I'm going to get through this process. And then, taking the stuff to the guys in the band, and they really brought it to life on the album. Jamie Aronson and Clint Walsh, the two guitar players, the 3-part harmonies that are on the record, all this stuff is stuff that they really brought to life around the demos that I wrote. And, it's been fun to create something with guys that I've known for the last 20 years.
Obviously your competitiveness is what drove you through your professional athletic career in Major League Baseball. What is it that drives you in your music career? Like, what are the overlaps, if there are any? Because obviously, a baseball career is vastly different than a music career. And here you are right now, you mastered the baseball career, you're retired, and now you're mastering this music career. But what is it that I'm trying to think of how to ask this? What is it that you got out of baseball that you're getting out of music? Is there an overlap there? Is there something, an adrenaline rush, the roar of the crowd? I mean, what is it that you're getting out of music that you also got out of baseball that maybe is filling a void, if you will?
Yeah, I'd say there's some overlap in a lot of ways. I mean, one is just the kind of pre-show buildup, right? It's like you can see people having a little bit of anxiety and a little bit of adrenaline, right? And it's like, how do you suppress that adrenaline early on in the stage performance so you don't burn out too quick, or that you don't lose your voice? And kind of the same way as a starting pitcher, you're like trying to get through those first few innings without exerting too much energy and just burning up all your fuel, and also, you just realize that when you're playing in a band or you're on a baseball team, there's a lot of guys that from an outward appearance, they look like they're super confident and know what's going on. But underneath, there's a lot of insecurity, right? It's like people are always kind of hyper judgmenting themselves and picking themselves apart and being like, oh, I don't sound good and this and that. And get to see that up close and personal in the big league locker room and also on the side stage watching, big bands over the years. I just realized that you got to kind of just, push that stuff to the side and push yourself out there and just do it. And so for a lot of years, I've been just performing around town, and I'm sure people will second guess and say, oh, this is a baseball player, man. How's he playing music? But for me, it's just about getting out there and just doing what you love to do. And hopefully people enjoy it if they watch it.
I hate to keep bringing up the baseball analogies. I'm gonna do it again though. But it's so rare to grow up to become a professional athlete. I mean, it only happens to such a tiny percent of individuals in the world, and you were blessed with that opportunity and you killed it. And it's also a tiny percent of people who go on to have great musical careers, and you're killing that right now. I mean, you're doing it all. So I'm jealous. I'm just throwing that out there. But no, you're doing such a great job right now. But you really piqued my interest on this just a few moments ago. I am curious. We've seen you pitch in so many big performances throughout your Major League Baseball career, a lot of big games for the Reds, the Red Sox, you name it. What about in your music career? What's the biggest crowd you've played in front of? What's the biggest performance that you've had, or have you not had that yet? I mean, I see obviously some of the big bands you're going to be performing with, obviously in Tampa, Florida, coming up in March, later on this month, actually later on this weekend, you're going to be in Arizona performing, on the same stage with the likes of Green Day and Weezer and The Offspring. I mean, I think that's pretty fascinating. Are those going to be your biggest performances, or what are some of the biggest performances you've had thus far?
Probably, I think, well, I opened up for Darius Rucker at Elder High School here in Cincinnati to about 13,000 for a charity event. And, but what's so funny is, man, we played the Machine Shop 2 nights ago, played a 15-song Pearl Jam set with my Cincinnati band and up in Flint, Michigan. And, having 400 people right in front of you jumping and getting crazy and singing every word back to me is a lot more intimate and a lot more personal than it is having 13,000 people who are 10 feet below you when you're standing up on this giant stage, So a lot of times the the big venues sometimes can feel like a baseball field where the crowd is kind of secondary. Where when you play a smaller club, it's like these people are right in front of your face, man. It feels very, very personal, and I really enjoy that, you know. So for me, to be honest with you, I'm not really thinking about like I don't really love playing these giant arenas, you know what I mean, or playing like on a huge festival. I want to be close to the people, and I want them to be able to look me in the eye and feel the energy that we're putting out on the stage.
Bronson Arroyo, Justin Kinner with you here on Dayton's ESPN radio station, 1410 Wing AM. Bronson, appreciate your time today. Of course, we've been talking about your music career and your post-playing days. We've even highlighted the album, and some might say, but we haven't highlighted the album technically. Tell us a little bit about the album and kind of the inspiration behind it. Of course, we've talked about the journey from when you started this to when you finally wrapped it up. But what was that moment like when you finally finished that final track on this album and you were finally like, oh man, we could actually put this out now? I mean, just talk about the journey of putting this album together and what this album means to you. Again, the first album you've released in your post-playing days.
Yeah, this is a collection of songs all from my mind. The music is mixed with the guys in the band, you know, and some friends who wrote some licks that got me started writing on the process. But as far as like finishing lyrically, you know, the stories all kind of lived in my mind as they came out, and you know, as we're getting through the process of making the album, as it was coming together, it just started feeling better and better. I mean, there's a lot of rock tunes on here that are really kind of driving, especially in the beginning of the song, the beginning of the record, Full Moon Fever, Guerrilla Warfare, and Some Might Say, and Side Effects. The first four just kind of like are bangers right off the top. Guerrilla Warfare is my personal favorite. I wrote that when I was in Cuba in 2018, and it's about you know, finding where my family lived as kids in Cuba, and then in the choruses I'm talking about Castro and Che taking over the country. But you know, I love those songs. There's also a quieter song on there called Never Let You Go, which is just kind of an acoustic, beautiful ballad, man, that I wrote kind of about Bob Dylan, the Beatles, and Elvis Presley. And then in the chorus, it just has this universal, you know, love is all you need, which was kind of an homage to John Lennon as well for writing All You Need Is Love. So, you know, the record's pretty hard driving in rock and roll, but there's some other flavors in there. The Hard Way is a song that's got a little bit of a country feel to it and a nice big hook. But, you know, when I finished this up in the studio, at first I wasn't sure, you know, how good the record was going to be. It just, you know, as you're making something, you're slowly peeling layers back, and in the end product. And now when I'm driving around in the car and it's 2:00 in the morning and I'm listening to it on Spotify, it's, you know, I'm super proud of the record. I hear little nuances in the background that I didn't even hear when we were recording it, and it just continues to get better and better for me.
All right, final sports analogy, I promise. Then we're done. Obviously 17 years in Major League Baseball, portion of that was you coming up through the minor leagues. And when you're playing in the minor leagues, I'm sure there were times where you felt like, man, I made it. I was drafted. I'm actually in the minor leagues. My trajectory is towards the majors, right? Like you had an end goal. You saw where your career was going and where you wanted it to go. With where you're at right now in the infancy stages of your music career, at least from the standpoint of releasing this album and starting to go on tour, how does this compare to that? What is your end game? Where do you want to be, you know, a year from now, 2, 3, 4, 5 years from now? What is the end game for this part of your career, the way that you kind of saw it out when you were in the minors when it came to your Major League Baseball career?
Yeah. You know, I've been fortunate enough, obviously, to play baseball long enough to make good enough money that monetarily I don't need it, right? So when I think about the music, it's purely a passion. I just want people to hear. I want people to hear these stories. You know, I'd love, my end game is to play to 400 people in a nice rock club. You know, a good amount of times during the year that can satiate Bronson Arroyo's appetite for live music. You know, and other than that, it's about leaving a legacy of yourself somewhere. You know, being in the Cincinnati Reds Hall of Fame in a lot of ways. You know, I could have family members 100 years from now walk through there and say, "Hey, that was my great 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 uncle right there on the side of the wall." And I think musically, if I could leave 2 or 3 albums that might live forever in the ether, or in the cloud, you know, on iTunes or whatever, I think that's something worth working towards. You know what I mean? It's like I don't need to play an arena. I don't necessarily need to. I don't have to have a platinum record. You know what I mean? I think it's about putting out a quality product that I can sit back and ride in the car and listen to 20 years from now and say, man, I'm really proud that we told these stories, and also be able to do that live for people, and hopefully they enjoy them as well.
Bronson, last thing before we let you go, spring training about to get officially underway. I know pitchers and catchers have reported, position players reported over the weekend. So we're right there. We're going to be having spring training games right here on 1410 Wing AM here in the near future. But, before spring training officially kicked off, obviously the Reds Caravan, it was pretty exciting seeing you be a part of that. What was cool is right now, if you just base it off social media, Reds fans are exhausted. They're tired of the losing. Some you may feel have given up, and I'm sure you could understand their frustration. But then when you go on the Caravan and you see the passion and the excitement and the love that the fans have for the organization, and although they may not be thrilled with where we're at right now within the rebuild, I'm sure you felt that love and passion from these Reds fans, the same passion that you felt from back in your playing days. But I am curious from a former player's perspective, what is your takeaway of this Reds rebuild right now? Because fans are frustrated. I'm frustrated. I'm sure the fan in you and former player is frustrated. But I guess the silver lining is some of the star players that they've got throughout, replenishing the farm system. And we got to see last year the first glimpse of what Hunter Green can do. Nick Lodolo, Graham Ashcraft, obviously Jonathan India and Tyler Stevenson within the lineup and the position players. There are some gold stars there for the Reds to feel pretty good about, but obviously it's going to take a lot more than just those five. What's your overall takeaway from some of the key pieces the Reds have already displayed and maybe even some of the key pieces coming up through the system?
Yeah, I feel like honestly the key to success right now is going to be those three guys you just named. The three starting pitchers, you've got to stay healthy. I mean, in an organization that's as young as this one is, you've got a bunch of guys on this club right now that are trying to establish themselves as major league starters, right? Like, I mean, as major league players in general. You got Jonathan India, who won Rookie of the Year last year. They made adjustments to him, and he didn't have as good of a season. And you're hoping he's going to bounce back this year and be the same guy we saw in year one. And if the starting three can go out there and give this team, 180 innings and win 12 games apiece, I think you have a chance to surprise some people. But when you have a team that's as young as this one is, and everyone is really trying to establish themselves at a major league level at the same time, it's very, very difficult to push towards getting into a playoff situation. It's just a rebuilding process right now. They're trying to make sure that the minor league system is stockpiled with some talent that can come up all at the same time and try to make some headway at the big league level. But I personally, if I'm totally guessing here, I mean, Reds fans are going to have to be patient for a little while. I think it's going to be a couple of years before we have an opportunity to see some of these young guys really flower to the place where they can pull this train all the way to a playoff.
Last thing on the way out to give us this. Congratulations on the induction to the Reds Hall of Fame. You're one of my all-time Reds favorites, so I was ecstatic when I heard that. I'm sure you were as well. How did you find out? Who presented that opportunity to you, and what was your reaction?
Yeah, Rick Walls from the Reds Hall of Fame, gave me a call. He said we're going to announce it tomorrow, and I just want to let you know that you're the only guy who made it to the vote this year. And walking in that Hall of Fame, it's the best Hall of Fame in all of Major League Baseball, bar none. And to look at those plaques on the wall and see guys like Johnny Bench and Joe Morgan and John and Pete Rose, got guys that I have had conversations with my whole career and got to talk about the 70s. And these guys are legends of the game. And when you're growing up, as I think of myself as a skinny white kid from Brooksville, Florida, you don't think of yourself in the same breath with a guy like Johnny Bench. And the fact that I'm going to be in there, one of 91 people in the oldest organization in the history of the game, and they're going to have a bust of my face on the wall for the rest of time, is pretty amazing.
It is pretty amazing. Bronson, thank you so much. I know you got to get moving. Thank you so much for your time. Bronson Arroyo and the 04 Band. Some might say his latest album is officially out, and we'll be plugging that more throughout the show today. Bronson, appreciate your time, man. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Mike Capel here, serial entrepreneur with words from another happy customer.
Atrius Software Accounting is amazing. I was able to see where's all my expenses going, where's the revenue, which month had more revenue. I definitely recommend it to you guys who are a small business and need to record your expenses. And they just make it so easy. I was like, wow, affordable and easy to use. I have recommended it to colleagues.
Easy to learn, easy to use. Small business software tailored just for you.
We certainly don't want you to overperform in the bedroom.
Call now and find out how to get a free bottle of Noxatril while supplies last. Call 800-993-2150, 800-993-2150. Free bottles for limited time. So call now, 800-993-2150, 800-993-2150.
The free AutoZone Fix Finder service can help troubleshoot the likely cause of your pesky check engine light for free and get you back on the road. Restrictions apply. Get in the zone. AutoZone.
Here at Roosters, we're not just a fun casual joint. We're a family. No matter who we are serving, our guests or our community, we strive to better the lives of those around us. Whether it's aiding in the battle against cancer, helping to educate the next generation, or simply putting a smile on someone's face, the Roosters Foundation has helped raise over $1 million annually for local charities. Our community has given us so much. This is the least we can do. Roosters, we're a fun casual joint, but so much more.
Many Vietnam War veterans were unknowingly exposed to dangerous chemicals impacting their health and quality of life. There are now expanded benefits for veterans exposed to Agent Orange. Veterans with Parkinsonism, bladder cancer, or hypothyroidism who previously applied for VA disability compensation but were denied should reapply and might be eligible for retroactive compensation. Exposed veterans who have not yet applied should consider filing a new claim. For assistance, call Montgomery County Veterans Service Commission at 937-225-4801.
Men, women, and young adults can find health wellness services at odh.ohio.gov/RHW.
From your own body to restore and repair damaged joint tissue. If you have ongoing joint pain from arthritis or injury, you need to call QC Kinetics. Don't assume that steroids and surgery are your only option. Times have changed, and regenerative medicine can get you moving again with no downtime. Stop taking the pain meds and discover the remarkable alternative that pro athletes have been using for years. Thanks to QC Kinetics, this amazing treatment option is now available for folks like you and me who are sick and tired of joint pain. Don't put this off any longer. Spring is coming and you want to enjoy all life has to offer. Call QC Kinetics now, 937-936-0325. Get a free consultation with local medical professionals. QC Kinetics, that's 937-936-0325.
Get 11% off everything at Menards. Upgrade any space and maximize storage with great closet systems from Dakota Closets. Make your storage your own with our selection of custom sizes and styles. Dakota Closets are easy to set up and are great for hanging clothes and storing accessories in any room of your house. Dakota Closets are 11% off. Good through February 26th. Savings are mail-in rebate. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
Save big money at Menards.
Dell Technologies President's Day business sale starts now with savings on select business PCs powered by 12th Gen Intel Core processors. Call 877-ASK-DELL.
Thank you to Bronson Arroyo for taking time and hanging out with us here. Kenner and Kev with you on Dayton's ESPN radio station, 1410 Wing AM. All right, we are off and rolling here. We're getting close to wrapping up hour number 2. You know what tonight is?
Bowling
night. It's Tuesday.
I almost said Monday, but then I realized yesterday was Monday, and that was a whole bunch of TV watching for me yesterday. But I know it is your bowling night.
Bowling. I've been stretching all day. I've been,
warming up the glutes.
Yep, I've been stretching with some Jolly Rancher gummies, sour lemonade stand. I highly recommend. I also highly recommend my, during the day bowling snack, hot Cheetos.
Lunch of champions.
Dude, these flaming hot Cheetos, oof, I love these things.
Are you like Anthony Edwards, who eats 21 bags a day?
No, but good for him. But I love hot Cheetos. Like that is the snack for old fat Kenner over here. I'm out of water. So
you remind me of my brother.
Cool stuff from Bronson Arroyo. If you missed it, it'll be up on our YouTube channel, ESPN Dayton's YouTube channel. That's where we put our shows in their entirety, select segments, and all interviews like the one we just did with Bronson. So you guys want to go and check that out. We've been really expanding our content on our YouTube channel, so we really appreciate those who go and check that out. So keep that in mind. All right, Kev, let's get to it. Daniel Jones. We talked about it a little bit ago just to highlight some things. Daniel Jones at this point right now is up for an extension with the Giants. And if a player asks for something and they get it, more power to them. You're just jealous? Yes, I am. I'm jealous when you go and ask for money and then those guys that ask for their money get their money. Yes, I'm with you. It's jealousy. It's a lot of jealousy. But no, Daniel Jones, the news of the dollar amount that Daniel Jones and his camp is asking for kind of really turned some heads. All right. And he's asking for this in a market in New York. And if people think I'm being too hard on this story, I mean, my goodness, usually like Carton and those guys over in New York, I mean, they were just letting into this dude over in New York Sports Talk Radio. And I'm here to tell you, my approach is, although I'm very aggressive on air, I get that. A lot of times it's not the person directly, because if he gets it, good for him. I come from a sports perspective of, as a fan, when I think about how rosters are constructed. You guys lost your minds because Deshaun Watson got the very first ever fully guaranteed contract. Now, I believe, and what I'm told is a lot of people are upset. Well, it's because of, it's not that he got fully guaranteed. It's because of, you know, the way in which he got it with all the allegations and everything against him. Here's where I think you're wrong. When's the last time an athlete got paid and we said, by golly, he deserves it? That's where you're all full of it. I don't believe, I believe, well, fine, but like a lot of times, outlier. No, a lot of times, though, people, we hate when watching these athletes get paid. Let's just be honest. The vast majority of us on social media, it's never, congrats, Patrick, great job. We don't do that. Congrats, Daniel Jones, great job. Deshaun Watson, you're a pig, congrats, great job. We don't do that, all right? So when we talk about what Deshaun Watson, like, think about what happened when Deshaun got that fully guaranteed contract. It totally derailed Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens contract negotiations. And it may very well lead. It may not be, it may not be set up this way, or it may not be viewed this way, but I'm a firm believer. Now, you can say what you want about the Browns and the contract with Deshaun Watson, but I am a firm believer that Deshaun Watson and the Browns may have been playing chess while everyone else playing checkers. If Lamar ends up in Atlanta, if Lamar ends up in Chicago, the Browns won. Like, the Browns won. Let's just be clear. All right. If the Cincinnati Bengals can't afford to keep the big three together, can't afford to keep the Bateses, which we already know that's not going to happen. They're not going to keep Bates, but you see my point. If the Browns move forces the Bengals to make all these tough decisions because of the fully guaranteed money that is going to go to Joe Burrow, I mean, like, good for the Browns. The Browns did that. Now, we've had this conversation before, but my point is that so many owners were furious about the guaranteed money that went to Deshaun Watson. But there's only select franchises that have an issue with this. There's only select franchises that have elite level quarterbacks. There are a ton of owners who have teams with Daniel Jones's.
Mm-hmm.
If owners hated the Cleveland Browns for the Deshaun Watson deal, they are going to hate the New York Giants if Daniel Jones gets this money. Because Daniel Jones, you guys got to understand something. Patrick Mahomes is big money, $45 million. If Joe Burrow gives the Bengals a discount at $45 million, that's kind of a discount, but it's kind of not. It's like that $5 extra million a year to work with. It might keep another player around for an extra year longer, but it's not saving grace by any means. So I say this because while everyone hates the Browns and hates the Deshaun Watson contract, I think owners out there, I think they have no problem at the end of the day if they had to pick and choose, give an elite level quarterback fully guaranteed money or give the Daniel Joneses of the world $45 million a year. They would rather give fully guaranteed money to the elite level quarterbacks every day of the week and twice on Sunday. So I think that this Daniel Jones contract is something to keep an eye on. Do I think he's going to get it? No. Do I think this is being overblown? Yes. But if he does, Kev, this will have a bigger ripple effect on the quarterback market than what everyone is accusing Deshaun Watson's contract of doing. I don't think the contract of Watson is as big a deal as people are making it. And it especially won't be a big deal if Daniel Jones gets this, because that is a huge problem for teams in the NFL. If you got to pay your Daniel Joneses of the world, oh man, look out.
You said a lot there. For me, when I saw Daniel Jones change agents, I was like, oh yeah, he's coming for the bag.
Do you know who his agent is? I didn't look that
I
up.
do not
It's
know.
okay. I just didn't know if you knew off the top of
I
your head.
saw it floating on Twitter. I guess it was yesterday or Sunday. And I was like, oh, he's not playing. He's going to try to cash out on this season. And that's what I want everybody to remember. He's had one good season, and he's about to cash in. More power to him. Salute. Salute to him and his agent. But you brought up Lamar Jackson. And the funny thing to me about this whole Lamar Jackson situation this week, because there's always funny things that I think about every single week with this situation, is me as a Steeler fan want him out of Baltimore. Cincinnati Bengals fans want him out.
Yep.
Cleveland Browns fans want him out. But the only team that doesn't want him out, well, apparently they want him out, is the Baltimore Ravens. Like, all the teams that you play are terrified of this dude, but you won't pay him. I know that's a topic for another day. We're talking about Daniel Jones, but I just thought that was weird. Every team in the division wants him gone because they won't have to deal with him, and they'll have to deal with somebody else that won't be Lamar Jackson, and they won't pay him. And it's so hard to get an elite level quarterback, and you guys can't come to an agreement about money. And last thing I heard was the guarantee was like $133 million, which is lower than Russell Wilson and Kyler Murray. So that's a whole different discussion. About Daniel Jones is, man, I heard someone talking about like, well, it is the New York market. That's normally rhetoric that you hear in baseball. Yeah. That's what you hear in baseball. And the difference between NFL and baseball is there's no salary cap in baseball. So what are you talking about? Like, I can't fathom them paying him that much money for one good season. Like, it'd be different if like he stacked season upon season, but this has been proven one time, and he's about to cash in. Yeah. I don't know what they're going to do. I have no idea what they're going to do because he's not elite. He had a good season. They made the playoffs, not taking anything from him. He balled out against Minnesota, no doubt about it, but Minnesota had the worst defense in the playoffs, so I expected him to ball out. But 45 a year for Daniel Jones, who's had one good season. Like I said before in another segment, there's 3 quarterbacks out there waiting for him to sign a $45 million deal. One name is Joe Burrow, another one's named Lamar Jackson, and another one's named Jalen Hurts. They're all waiting. They want him to get this contract because guess what? If he's getting 45, I'm getting 55.
I mean, but we're talking about the gap. You're talking at 60, but 55. Now, you keep saying he had a good season. The Giants had a good season. He had an improved season.
There you go. You go.
And I say this to put this into perspective a little bit, okay, because this is what it is. You think of Daniel Jones, you think of the Giants, man, they definitely surpassed expectations. Okay, that's fantastic. But Daniel Jones just had his best year in the NFL. What does his best year look like? Daniel Jones' best year in the NFL looks like this. He threw for 3,200 yards and 15 touchdowns on 6.8 yards per completion, per attempt. Sorry. So those numbers, Kev, his 3,200 passing yards, that ranks 15th in the NFL. 21st he's 21st in the NFL in touchdowns thrown. And he ranks 25th in the NFL in yards per attempt per pass. He was tied with Marcus Mariota in touchdown passes, and he was tied with Mac Jones on yards per pass attempt. That's improvement, but that's not $45 million a year, folks. That's just not. I'm not mad at Daniel Jones. Ask for whatever you want to. But let me ask you this. You could ask for whatever you want to, but at what point do players look a little like read the room? Not like, do you understand or do you understand who you are? Like, do you have a little self-realization a little bit? Like Lamar, I get, like, I don't push too far back on Lamar asking for that. I always come from I understand why the Ravens they're diving into the deep end with him. Lamar, you got an MVP. All your team does is win when you're on that field. When you're off the field, they don't even look like they deserve to be in the league. Now, I mean, they do have a Pro Bowl quarterback to back him up now, so look out, Lamar. But I just feel like with Daniel Jones, like this is Daniel Jones asking for this and Lamar asking for what he is. It's not the same thing, not even close. I'm uncomfortable that Daniel Jones said, yeah, let's do that. That's weird to me, Kev. That's weird.
To be an NFL player and to be a starter in the NFL, you have to have confidence. And obviously Daniel Jones has a lot of confidence, and him switching agencies speaks to the fact that like he's here for the bag. He's not dumb. He went to Duke. He's trying to cash in, and he knows this is his probably one and only opportunity. I will say this. If Daniel Jones is getting that type of raise, their head coach needs 10 times as much because that's the reason why Daniel Jones got better as a football player. He got coached up different, and they played to his strengths. They ran the ball with him a ton. People that think like, oh, man, he was out here throwing dimes. He really wasn't. He was playing decent at quarterback, but they really use his athleticism. They use him and Saquon Barkley in the zone read game, and he can run. So a lot of those tweaks to the New York Giants offense was really predicated in him using his legs and his athletic ability. So for me, $45 million for Daniel Jones, who's had one good season and Giants made the playoffs, it's I guess it's being at the right place at the right time.
And taking advantage of the situation that the Giants are ready to go. They have the money. They don't have their money invested into anyone on that. Giants weren't supposed to be good this year.
Right.
They weren't supposed to be a playoff team. I know it's the NFL. You're always there. Don't get me wrong, but they go look at the money they spent last offseason. That wasn't a team investing into winning this upcoming season. This was about getting the chairs organized on the Titanic before it goes down almost, right? Like, I don't know. But I think he knows I don't have an elite wide receiver. I have no weapons. Saquon, he's about to get paid.
He ain't gonna get paid by the Giants. If he get $45 million, he'll get franchised, and then Saquon will walk the next year. He ain't about to get paid by the Giants.
They don't really want to tag him. Would be like 11 or 12 mil.
That's decent.
I don't think it's that bad, but I think for
that's
a guy
less than what they were going to probably have to pay him. Like if they were able to work out a contract between him and Daniel Jones, obviously you will want that. Like, all right, we have stability with our running back and our quarterback. Kind of like how you were saying with like, hey man, if you can get those two for what you're gonna pay Joe Burrow, it's
more power
decent,
to you. Yep.
But it's not gonna happen that way now.
So it's interesting nonetheless. But we after this entire conversation on a scale of 1 to 10, the likelihood of him getting 45 mil is 0. The likelihood of him getting 40 mil, I still think is pretty slim. Although with the way the market's going, 40 might be the new 30, not age. We're talking that base minimum. Like back in the day when we're talking about Baker Mayfield with the Browns, I'm like, that 30-35 range is about fair for Baker Mayfield. Like as much as I love Baker with the Browns at that time, I wasn't sitting there saying that he's the elite of the elite and should be paid like the elite. I said 30-35. I think that for one, that's fair for a guy that's been so up and down throughout his career. But I think now 30 is now going to be the new 40 is going to be that new 30, that base range, especially now we're going into that 50-55 mil a year for a quarterback. But at some point in our lives, Kev, doesn't that number stop?
No.
So
they don't stop bringing in money on the NFL.
But so when you're 60 and I'm 50, because I don't know why I highlighted that, but the point is, when we get to that, are we going to be talking about 75, 80 million quarterbacks?
Yes.
Damn, kids, get out there, do your thing.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, we see it in baseball, we see it in the NBA. The salaries keep getting bigger because the sport keeps getting bigger. They're bringing in more revenue. It isn't necessarily that they're getting a bigger slice of the pie or the revenue. It's just like they're just bringing in so much revenue. So I'm not sure what the split is between the franchises and the players, but just say for argument's sake, it's a 50-50 split. They bring in $5 trillion. That money's still going to get split 50-50. So they have more money to spend on players. And then the players are going to be like, all right, man, I'm up for free agency. Looks like I'm getting a $80 million contract. Pay up.
518-1410, 518-1410. Kev, who we have up?
We got Ron from Kettering.
Ron and Kettering, you are up, sir. How are you?
I'm doing good, guys. Great listening to you guys while I'm out driving around all day doing my job. So
appreciate that.
I wanted to call and get you guys' opinion on this. I've called in before. I'm a Cowboy fan, but I'm kind of flipping toward rooting for the Bengals from time to time. With Joe Burrow and this, we're talking about the quarterbacks and what they're getting paid. With them getting this money, what else do they get as far as revenue? Is there revenue off of sales or anything? Do they get more off of anything else other than what they're getting paid by the team?
Yeah, they get a portion of the jersey sales, like individuals. Like if Joe Burrow sells X amount of jersey, he gets a split of that.
Okay. My thought is, I know this happened once before where a quarterback will take less money to assure he keeps people around him to protect him and everything. You think that's something Joe Burrow would consider doing or not?
I think we talk about this all the time. I say no, because there's only really been 4 examples in all of sports history where guys took a major discount to keep guys around them. We all know the names: Tom Brady, Tim Duncan, Manu Ginobili, and Tony Parker. I guess you can throw LeBron, D Wade, and Chris Bosh into that as well. But like, it just doesn't happen. So until we start to see it happen on a more regular basis, I'm going to say no.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't really think. Do I think he will? I think it's all wishful and hopeful thinking. I think that if you go before the negotiations in Baltimore started with Lamar, you probably had, if you tuned into Sports Talk there, you had Ravens fans say, well, Lamar, they built this whole offense around him and they put him in position to win an MVP. I think he's grateful for that. And he knows that we're the only team that's going to do that. He might take less. And now look what he's doing. He wants the bag and then some side bags too. Like, he wants it all. I think it would be silly of him not to do it, but if he did do it, he would be viewed at the fans outside of Cincinnati would love him even more if he does that. There's not one thing out there hinting towards him doing that, but we'll see.
Yeah, I just think it'd be a smart move because, if I'm thinking of it in the long-term run, what is Cincinnati, Ohio looking for right now? They're looking for a Super Bowl team. That's what, those fans are there now. They're there watching, and they weren't a few years back because I listen to you guys all the time. But right now, it's like the stands are full. People are buying all these jerseys. Everything's Burrow and Higgins and everybody Chase. I would say, you start taking these pieces away from Burrow, I don't think he's going to look that good.
Well, people act like, and by the way, I agree with you. Joe Burrow did not, when Jamar Chase was out for that month, Joe Burrow did not look good. He looked good against Pittsburgh one time in a 4-week stretch. And I do think Burrow's good enough to adapt. I think there'll be a learning curve for him if he ever loses Jamar Chase or T. Higgins or whoever. And I think that day's coming. Maybe not so much Jamar Chase, not in the immediate future. But this idea that that T. Higgins and Jamar Chase are the only talents out there. They lose them, you draft some, you replace them. The one good thing about the Bengals organization, the one position that they've drafted better than any other team out there, or as consistent as any other team out there, is wide receiver. This idea that if they lose T. Higgins or Jamar Chase, that there's no way they could replace the weapons, that's just not true. The one position the Bengals have always drafted and drafted really well is wide receiver, minus John Ross. So I'll give them that. I wouldn't be too worried about that. And everything you just listed about how great Burrow is why he should get that 50+ mil, and why I want to get that 50+ mil.
Yeah. I'd be happy with him getting. I heard you say earlier the fans kind of complain when someone gets the money, but I'm not about that. If these guys get the money, they deserve the money. Give them the money. If you want to keep that person happy and keep them doing good, pay them the money. But
no, I'm with
you. It's going to be crazy when it blows up to, what did you guys say, 80 million? So I probably won't live to see that.
Yeah, for alive. But hey, Ron, appreciate
Thank you guys. Appreciate it.
Later, Ron.
No, look, that question. If you're tuning in, oh God, these guys are talking about that again. The caller asked about it. Relax. I'm not bringing up Joe Burrow's contract again. But it's all wishful thinking, dudes. And I will eat crow and I will wipe the egg off my face. But again, there is 0% chance Joe Burrow takes less than 50 mil. 0. So I will just say it now.
I'm glad you said that, because when we talk about discounts, what is a discount? So let's just say, all right, Joe Burrow is the next up to get paid. Let's just play in this playground. Let's just say that Lamar Jackson, he gets his contract and it's $50 million. Is Joe Burrow taking $45 million? Is that quote unquote a discount?
Repeat, like what? Say that again.
If Lamar Jackson finally signs a contract with the Baltimore Ravens and is guaranteed, yada, 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 is $50 million a year. And Joe Burrow says, well, you know what? I'll take 45 instead. Are we going to view that as a discount?
Bengals fans will. They'll try telling you it is, but 45 mil, like you look at Patrick Mahomes, it's the 3rd highest cap hit against a team heading into next season. Like I don't, but like, again, we're talking, not you especially, but like the way we talk about these contracts is like, oh, they're hurting their team. That like we've positioned it, we have framed it to where, man, these guys are hurting their team. Joe Burrow is doing his team a disservice.
Right.
they'll tell you how great he is. And man, look at all the amazing things. They're putting a biography of the dude out 2 years into the league, 3 years in the league. They're putting a biography out and it's titled something like second place isn't good enough for Joe Burrow. Well, then wait till after he doesn't finish second in something. And then we'll finally get to the point where you can write a damn biography about him later. No, 45, is that a discount? I don't think it is.
That would be enough to get a linebacker. That's not going to be enough to get T. Higgins or Chase to stick around, because their numbers are going to be in the 25 to 30 range.
I mean, that's Daniel Jones money right there.
So I just get curious about what do we actually view as a discount. For me, if Lamar Jackson signs a $50 million contract and Joe Burrow says, give me 35, I'll say, now that's a discount. That's going to keep a wide receiver around. That's the type of money that I will view as a discount. This isn't like the NBA where, D Wade and LeBron and Bosh each take $3 million less and they go ahead and sign a veteran minimum contract. They're able to sign 3 guys with that. You're not going to be able to sign 3 quality starters with the leftover money that Joe Burrow would leave out there if he only leaves $5 million on the table. So if it's only $5 million that he's going to leave on the table, you might as well go ahead and get that extra $5 million. If you're going to take a discount, let's take a big discount so you can bring or keep said weapon.
Let me put it this way. I'm gonna give Coles some free promotion here today. When you get them little coupons? I got made fun of the other day for how I say it. Now I'm all self-conscious. The coupons.
How do you say Dayton?
Yeah, that too. I have an idea. So you get those Coles coupons, right? Now let's be clear. You scratch it off. I don't know about y'all, but I scratch it off. I get that 10%. Toss it. I think 10%.
That's tax.
It's not even worth the gas to drive down there. 10%, 15. Okay, still, I'm gonna at least keep it on the kitchen table for at least a couple days longer. Man, damn it, you give me that 30. I'm going to Coles. I wish they had like a jingle. I'd start singing the Coles jingle. Man, everyone loves a good old Coles visit, right? So my thing with Coles is 30%. There has to be a number that you truly feel like, okay, this deal is worth it. And I'm sorry, but Joe Burrow getting 45 mil, I don't think that's a pay cut, but that's not a discount. This idea that he's going to give a discount is just kind of silly.
So I'll say this: if Joe Burrow does, more power to him, and he'll be the most hated man in the AFC North because that means they're going to keep a lot of guys around and they're probably going to win some Super Bowls. But I'm not a parent; you're not a parent. But I think that
dogs.
I think that people that would vilify Joe Burrow for taking every dollar he could get, I would ask those people, what if that was your son or daughter up for that type of money? You wouldn't tell your son or daughter to be like, no, come on, Billy, come on, Sue, take 30% less. They'll be okay. You would not.
Nope.
You would not. You would want your child to go out there and get their worth. And in this country, worth is dollars. So that's just how I operate, man. And he's not even in a position where how Tim Duncan was. People forget this. Tim Duncan didn't start taking discounts until after he got 2 big contracts. People forget Tim Duncan was about to go to the Orlando Magic and play with Grant Hill until Grant Hill's everything happened with his foot. And he stayed with San Antonio, signed a big contract, won some more championships. It was after that contract where he started taking quote unquote discounts and shorter length deals. So let's not act like, oh, man, Tim Duncan was always the team guy and always looking out for everybody else. He won championships. He earned the right to get a big bag and was about to go get a big bag from the Orlando Magic and ultimately stayed with the Spurs and got a big bag and won more championships. And then he was like, all right, well, I got enough money in the bank, got enough money for the kids and the fam, yada, yada. All right, I'll take some discounts. Joe Burrow is about to finally hit that first big contract. Jalen Hurts is about to hit that first big contract. Lamar Jackson, same way. So that's how we have to really think about this. We have to take our fan cap off and think about the business and put yourself in those shoes. What would you do if that was your child?
Yeah. How is he supposed to buy more of them Hamburglar outfits if he's only making 30 mil a year? So yes, there is that. And by the way, the one thing that we keep forgetting about, this is not all on Joe Burrow's responsibility to take a pay cut. This isn't the Jason Fitz line from a few weeks ago. What I mean is, you think back those Spurs teams, Tim Duncan took a pay cut. You know who also never, Tony Parker could have got paid. Tony Parker, there was a stretch where he was a top 2, top 3 point guard in the NBA, where every year it was rumored that they could either trade him or he'd hit the free agent market and he'd be the highest paid point guard in the NBA during that stretch. He always took pay cuts. Manu Ginobili always took pay cuts. So while Tim Duncan's always the face of that, keep in mind, those other two did their thing. When LeBron went to the Miami Heat, guess who? He took a pay cut. You know who also took it? Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh. They took pay cuts to make that work. We always talk about the best player in these situations taking less, but here's what's also alarming. If Jamar Chase or T. Higgins, they go and they get their full bag, and then they're going to point at Joe Burrow and say, oh, what's he going to do to keep his weapons? Middle finger to both of those dudes. Joe Burrow should not have to take less so that those two can go get their bag. Like, I would respect the Bengals more if Joe Burrow, T, and Burrow, if Joe Burrow, Chase, and Higgins all stayed together, because Burrow took a pay cut and all three of those guys took pay cuts to stay together. They would be a legendary trio moving forward that will be talked about decades from now as far as how they navigated their contract negotiations to stick together. They'll be up there with the triplets like we talked about. Assuming they go on to win Super Bowls, they'd be right up there with the Cowboys of having that big three. It can't be Joe Burrow taking a pay cut and then those two dudes going to get everything that they have coming to them. I think that that's wrong. And if you think I've been critical of them before, I will hate those two. That is messed up. I don't think that's going to be the case. But it better not be Joe Burrow eating money while the other two go get all of theirs. Then that's a problem. And you fans should have a problem with that too.
Yeah, I'm with you. That just speaks to like relationships and how those type of situations are. And when you start talking money and when you start talking money with your friends and teammates, it gets weird. It gets weird. Not everybody's going to be out there like an A.J. Brown championing Jalen Hurts getting paid.
Oh, yeah.
Like
he's been cool about that all week.
Everybody's not going to be like that. Some people take the approach of like, I'm going to let him handle his business. Hopefully he gets everything he can get, and then I'm going to be trying to get everything I can get, and we'll worry about everything else later. Some people take that approach. Other people take the approach of they're talking about, oh, he shouldn't get that type of money like Donovan McNabb did with when he was with the Eagles and everything like that. So it's a sticky situation. And ultimately, this is why we love sports, because the Super Bowl was 2 weeks ago and we're still talking NFL. Draft and combine weeks away. We're still talking NFL. This sport that keeps on giving.
Yeah, and keep in mind, and I see Doug Toby, you keep bringing up the structure that Gordon Gross just said. Can't they just give him some huge bonus that wouldn't count towards the cap hit? That's what the Browns did with Deshaun Watson last year. I saw the graphic that just came out. Deshaun Watson will be the highest cap hit against any team in NFL history at about 55. If that's actually the case, though, keep in mind they're going to restructure that deal down to, I think the number I read last was about, it's going to, the lowest it could come down to is an $8 million hit against the cap for the Browns. Now, that you're basically, so Doug and Gordon, I know what you're asking. Like, yes, the Bengals will do, the Bengals don't have some secret little potion to get this done with Joe Burrow. They're going to do what every other team in the NFL does. Sign a mega deal. The Chiefs did it. The Browns did it with Deshaun. The Ravens, if they ever get a deal done with Lamar, whoever Lamar ends up with, it'll be a mega deal that'll be restructured, that it won't be so negative up front. It'll hit them later. Like, by the way, that's what's crazy about the Chiefs winning this year. This was supposed to be like, I'm watching all these shows talking about how like they lost like 7 starters from last year's team and the year before. And they were supposed to be bad this year. They lost Tyreek Hill. They were supposed to be bad, but they were supposed to be a
rebuild,
7 to 9 win team and let the rookies kind of develop and then hit the ground running this upcoming season is supposed to be the year that the Chiefs kind of came back and they won the Super Bowl this year. So you have to have a good organization that can navigate through restructuring of these deals, win up front, which the Bengals are doing, win up front. So you're going to have a year or two to win of the restructuring of these deals. And then the cap hit's going to come in. And that's where you're going to start saying goodbye to a lot of dudes. So yeah, the Bengals still have next year and probably they have a 3-year window coming up to get a Super Bowl. They have 3 years to get it done. So that includes after he gets paid a 2-year window there. The Browns, their final year coming up is this year. After this year, it's hell for the Browns after that. No one feels sorry for them. Don't expect you to, but it's going to be hell for the Browns who don't draft well and don't develop well. The one thing the Bengals have going for them, very similar to the Chiefs, they draft well. They develop well. Can they sustain this? That's going to be the big thing. The Bengals are in better shape than the Browns moving forward because they draft well, not because, they have the money to pay their guys.
And another thing about restructuring contracts is you have to have an ownership group willing to write those big checks at one time. I equate it to people that have car issues. So you say you got a major car issue.
I have a few.
You could dip into your savings account and pay it directly in cash, or you could put it on your credit card and pay it little by little. That's how the NFL owners are doing, basically paying their salaries year by year. Like, all right, we just pay it out year by year as opposed to writing a big check. And that's like scary. Not every organization works that way. Not every ownership group is willing to, all right, man, let me sign one big check for $60 million. Here you go. And now the rest of the season, you're only going to get paid $1 million. Like, that's a lot of money. I don't care how much money you got. That's a lot of money. So there's different strategies for different teams.
Yep. The Packers are another prime example. Aaron Rodgers' cap hit was so big, they couldn't keep what. Now, they don't do themselves any favors. That's an organization that also doesn't draft extremely well. Sean Boland says Mahomes will never be projected to win 7 games. LOL. Yes, like that was coming into the season. It was actually 8 to 9 wins was their projection coming into the season. That's okay. I don't know why you're getting defensive of that for whatever reason. I'm not really sure. You're a Bengals fan, but I think it's because you want this dominance over the Chiefs thing to mean something, and you can't afford to have the Chiefs be down while claiming to dominate them. I don't know what your role or tactic is there. It's an interesting one. But, Sean, yes, that's the case, and that will be Burrow's case in the next 5 years. That will be the case where now they're in that 7, 8, 9 win range, which isn't terrible, but that's where the Browns are going to be in the next couple of years too. Hell, that's probably where they've ended up the last couple of years anyway. So bottom line is I'm fascinated by all this. I hope they never change it. I love the 4-year rookie deals. I love all this. It just makes every year there's a new team that comes into the fold. Brad Mays on YouTube says Burrow is the only reason that franchise has any money at all. He needs to get his cut. The only reason they have a bubble, Ring of Honor, stadium naming rights, it's all because of Burrow. They've been claiming naming rights and the bubble and all this stuff for decades. But they get a franchise quarterback, and now they put everything together. Now there's Hall of Famers being put into the Hall of Fame. Ken Riley being put into the Hall of Fame because of Joe Burrow. And by the way, you can act like that's not the case, but it is. I find it very ironic that now all of a sudden the Bengals start winning some football games and are relevant. And now you have guys like Ken Riley who's being put into the Hall of Fame. Now you have guys like Willie Anderson that's about to be put in the Hall of Fame. He'll probably be put in within the next year or two, if I had to guess. Chad Johnson's going to be right up there. Ken Anderson deserves to be there. You're going to see a slew of Bengals be inducted into the Hall of Fame because now they're relevant, and it's the hip thing to do is include the Bengals when no one wanted anything to do with the Bengals for the longest time. So we shall see. All right, folks. 518-1410. Let's do another one, Kev. Who we got?
Reggie, line 2.
What up, Reggie? How are you, sir?
Hey, guys. How's it going?
Hey.
Good. I haven't had a chance. I got a chance to talk to you guys a couple times the past few weeks. I haven't had a chance to the past week or so, but I've still been listening. Don't worry.
Appreciate it.
I wanted to chime in. I know you guys are tired of talking about the contract stuff, but I've been sitting here listening, and I wanted to chime in on a few things that's been said that other callers have brought in about too as well. First thing, the Deshaun Watson deal, just really quick. I think a lot of people get so caught up that he's potentially the new that contract sort of hurt the quarterback market as the new precedent. I feel like people are putting way too much weight into that basket. I think a lot of the owners around the league look at that as the anomaly or as the outlier. And I honestly think that there's perfect examples. Baltimore, they probably from the get-go was like, look, we're not even going to base any of this off of that deal with Deshaun and the Browns. Whether you look at that as going to be a success in the long run for the Browns or a complete failure, I don't think that any of them at that level look at it like that. I think they look at it more from the perspective of this is just an outlier and we're going to do our own thing anyways.
So what you're saying is, and I've heard people say this before, I think Dominic Foxworth on Get Up one time said that, hey, he goes, I'm not defending the Ravens, but what the Ravens are basically telling Lamar is, hey, I know you want that fully guaranteed money because that's what Deshaun got, but just because the Browns were dumb with their decision-making with that contract doesn't mean that we are going to be dumb in the process, because the one thing I've defended the Ravens on, and I'm not really defending the Ravens, but I will highlight this. And Kev, I feel like people are saying the Ravens don't want to pay Lamar. That's not true. There have been multiple contracts that they have placed in front of him that would make him a top 3 paid quarterback in the NFL that he has rejected since Deshaun Watson's contract has come out. So I think, so to your point, like they're basically saying, hey, it only becomes a problem if now everyone follows suit. We can just keep saying, hey, the Browns were dumb for what they did. We're not going to be dumb either, and maybe ride that high horse if they want to, I guess. But that's kind of where I come from with that. I agree with you on that, and I'm a Browns fan. They got their quarterback, but they're definitely going to pay for it if they don't find a way to win under this. That's for sure.
So let me ask y'all both this. Who would y'all rather have, Lamar Jackson or Russell Wilson?
Well, in my opinion, I think Lamar Jackson. I think that Russell, in my opinion, is despite the he's sort of had a negative connotation that's followed him over the past year because the success hasn't been there. When the success from football standpoint is not there, all of those flaws are going to show. Winning cures everything, and no matter what level, this high school, college, pros. I think that Russell is much more of I don't want to say a team player because I think Lamar is a great teammate. But I think Russell is probably, in a lot of ways, this is going to sound bad, and I don't know the man personally, he's a yes man. I think Lamar sort of stands his ground. And one of the things that Justin just said was, I'm not even saying that I think the Browns deal was a failure or dumb. I think that's all open to interpretation that time will tell. If the Browns come out and ball out this year and Deshaun has MVP-like numbers, then everyone's going to be like, oh, okay, now we understand why. I think, but the Lamar thing, Lamar's standing on the ground that, hey, this is what he got. And I think the Ravens are from the opposite perspective, saying we really don't even care about that. We're worried about what we have going on in this building and what deal we have based on what the actual league is doing, not what one outlier is doing, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it makes total sense. So who would you rather have, Lamar or Kyler Murray?
I would rather have Lamar.
So both of those dudes they guarantee Lamar $133 million. Russ has a guarantee 165, and Kyler Murray has a guaranteed 162. So, like, I think that's a bigger issue. And just for me, obviously, I don't know. I'm not with Lamar Jackson, but like, you got to get him above those guys to even have a fighting chance.
Do you think the fact that Russell Wilson, he's not elite? And not just because I've always said he's not elite, but last year didn't help. So last year's not helping that. And then they see a little of Kyler Murray and Lamar as far as like the way that they play of like, okay, look at all that money Arizona's going to eat because this dude's constantly hurt. It's the third straight season where Kyler Murray's missed games in the back half of the season. Lamar's already missed back half of the game season. It's like, I'm not saying the Ravens are completely right, but I don't think they're unjustified with their approach. Like, it's not like they're saying, hey, we don't want anything to do with Lamar.
So what's a fair number if he's better than both those quarterbacks? What's a fair number?
I'm not aficionado with contract negotiations for the guaranteed stuff always throws me off as far as like what that line is.
Right.
Because I always look at it as like total contract. You're looking at it from the total guaranteed money.
Yeah.
As far as,
and
like,
I mean, yes, obviously Deshaun is 250 is just like
Reggie. Thank you, man. Appreciate
the
you, man.
big one that everybody looks at. So I'll just take that one off the table since everybody says like that's the outlier, and it obviously is because he's the only one with a contract like that. So I'll look at the other two guys as a sign. If he's better than Russ and Kyler, and he's $30 million less than them on the guarantee level, if I'm Lamar Jackson, I'm saying, well, wait a minute, dude. Like, I'm better than both of those dudes. Some people think that I'm better than Deshaun Watson, and I'm going to be over $100 million less than Deshaun, and I'm going to be $30 million less than two dudes that I'm better than. I think the Ravens have to get to at least $200 million guaranteed for that to quote unquote be fair.
Well, you hear that, Atlanta? That's what you got to do.
Oh, Atlanta know what they got to do.
Atlanta
gonna come with that 300.
Oh, I know, because hey, Atlanta is just as bad of a franchise as the Cleveland Browns because they were willing to sign Deshaun Watson.
Atlanta gonna come with the 300. All they got to do is come off those 2 first-round picks, and he'll be playing there. And I've already said, if I'm the Falcons, I would have been did that. I'd be like, hey man, here's 3 first-rounders. Come on down.
Keep in mind. Oh yeah.
Because guess what? We won't see how much of a Pro Bowl quarterback they really got for a full season if Lamar Jackson ain't there.
And if he can miss games in the AFC, he could just as well easily get paid to miss games in the NFC. I'm just saying. No, nonetheless. But thank God for Lamar's contract negotiation. Thank goodness for Aaron Rodgers. Thank goodness for all the QBs that just keep the content coming. We got a long summer.
It is.
We got a long summer.
It is. Go Guardians.
Well, luckily we got the Guardians. Yeah, the Guardians. How many of you out there, by the way, applied for your opening day tickets? The opening day with the Reds, that is the one thing that is most fascinating. Good or bad expectations for the season, opening day always just has, even though Castellani did ruin last year's opening day.
Where are you going to go?
Yeah, where are you going to go? Well, we already paid for our ticket, so I guess we might as well just stay here. But I'll tell you where we're going to go after this. Not here, I tell you that much. But nonetheless, Kenner and Kev, 1410 ESPN Radio.
It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash.
Justin, you're awesome, baby.
Right here on 1410 ESPN Radio.
ESPN 1410 Wing AM weather.
Our forecast is calling for rain tonight, a low of 36, showers and 68. Wednesday, Thursday, sunny, windy, and 72. I'm Rick Shrimp, 1410 ESPN Radio.
Want to make tonight's dinner a perfect 10? Swing by Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken and pick up a 10-piece strips meal for only $24.99. With 10 freshly marinated, honey-dipped premium tenderloins, 3 dipping sauces, 2 of our irresistible large sides, and 5 fluffy biscuits, it's family time made from scratch. Take home a top-notch dinner the whole family will love from Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken with our 10-piece strips meal for only $24.99. Only at Lee's. Famous for chicken.
Need an online notary? We can help. Hi, this is Mike Foley, your Montgomery County Clerk of Courts. We can notarize your documents remotely at no charge to you. All you need is a smartphone or laptop. Visit courthouse2u.com for more info.
$5,000 sign-on bonus. That's right. My friends at Cordell Transportation are now hiring experienced Class A CDL drivers with excellent work history. If that's you, apply now. Cordell Transportation offers home daily dedicated lanes, no-touch freight, and brand new equipment, plus a $5,000 sign-on bonus paid over 18 months, paid orientation, and company 401k with company match. Apply online at CordellTransportation.com. Cordell Transportation, driven to succeed.
Nothing protects your engine better than